And we are live.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to... fuck.
Great start, I love it.
And welcome back to...
Welcome to, for the first
Welcome
time.
to the beginning. Yeah.
Welcome to the beginning
Of the beginning of
Welcome back for the first time for the last time.
Episode 1 of Drama and Dragons.
What a great start.
Yes.
Yep. 10 out of 10. We are already just like racing up those charts right now.
Absolutely. All right. Does everybody want to introduce themselves before we get started?
Yep.
I
Sure.
guess I'll start. All right. So my name is Daniel. My name online is BlackChain119. You can find me on YouTube. But I make AMVs and generally just geek around online playing D&D with you guys.
Heck yeah. Who's up next?
Well, Cosmic's gone dark, or is she now? Oh, Cosmic, you back?
Hello. Yes.
Awesome.
I kind of went AFK real quick. Can you just give me a little recap?
Okay. How about this?
Our recap was, yo, my name is Daniel.
Yeah, there's
Okay. All right. No, my name's Adrian Dab. Right?
Jesus.
How's it going?
Up next.
Alright, after that, going
Quality
on to
entertainment.
down here. Hi, my name is Connor. I go by StraightUpAces online. You can find me on Twitter at _AceOfSpace. I also do not do AMVs or anything interesting. I'm more just your typical lurking nerd online. So, if you ever want to hit me up, give it the fuck away and leave me the fuck alone.
And he has kind of a voice like Jared Knobbenbauer. A little bit.
Wait, I sound like Jared. I sound like Pro Jared. What?
Oh, a little bit.
Oh, I was wondering if that's what you were talking about. We got some pro Jared. Anyway, we're streaming, so I can't get sidetracked. My name is Criddy. I am the Dungeon Master, and I'm running my campaign True Verlorian Blood with my new friends here. Is everybody ready to get into it?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Verloria is a popular port town that has been under the leadership of the Verloria family since its inception. It has long been a symbol of fortuity and prosperity due to its reputation for creating rich families from nothing. From its humble beginnings, it has been a common occurrence for impoverished folk to move to Verloria and rapidly grow their trade into a profitable business due to the fertile and populated grounds that it rests on, as well as the high traffic waters adjacent to it. Best displaying the town's proud reputation is the Therum district, named after the town's founder, Therum Verlora. The district is enclosed by a large stone wall and pristine metal gates. Within these walls lurk Verloria's finest. Wealthy business owners and their families live in large accommodations within this district and are protected by the district's specific guardsmen. They have access to other upscale amenities that reside behind the stone walls, such as a bathhouse, a spa, a sprawling library, and the tallest echelon craft shops in the city. While the Therum district is a shining example of Verloria's glory, sorry, there was some volume in the background. The Therum district is a shining example of Verloria's glory. The other side of the wall is filled with people who dreamed to cross through those gates one day. It is home to many poor but ambitious common folk, some of whom are able to make a decent living working for themselves or oftentimes for businesses owned by residents of the Therum district. Verloria is currently ruled by King Evandril Verlora, Queen Tianis Verlora, and in part by their beloved daughter, Princess Kisana Verlora. We will begin our story during the Fall Cotillion. It's an event that happens in the town every single year. There are plenty of parties and events in Verloria, most of them very closed off. And did somebody say something? Sorry, there's some mic feedback.
Sorry, that was
Might have been me. No. Alright.
No, I'm just making sure no one's trying to say something.
Trust me, you'll hear me.
Fair enough. But yeah, they hold many parties and events here every year, but this one is the most looked forward to of all of them. The Fall Cotillion, it's the most hyped up one, and the most people show up because it's also more open. They open it to basically everybody, not just people of the Therum district. And that's where we're going to begin our story with. Let me pull up my thing here, sorry.
Take your time.
Hey, Criddy, slight sidetrack. Can you try screen sharing, like, any maps you have on the screen as well? Because then we can see them.
I have no maps right now, my boy.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't even
worry about it.
Theater of the mind.
Don't worry about it. It's no problem.
Yes. We'll begin our story in the middle of the ball with our friend, Zephyr Martorin. As he stands in the back, looking at the ballroom and its elegant appearance, aided by porcelain white shiny tile that's of an otherworldly atmosphere that could make even the most impoverished commoner feel like royalty. The center of the room is lively with dancing and conversing townsfolk in the most expensive formal attire, creating a swaying rainbow of bright dresses and suits. Surrounding the vibrant dance floor is a meticulous lineup of high-class foods, from enormous hams and turkeys on one side to the delicate pastries and sweets on the other, all of which is being served by men in white suits with golden silk ties and embellishments around them. On the other long end of the room, at the opposite of the two dining rooms, is a raised stage with twisting steps leading up either side. On top of the stage sits two large marble thrones with golden-colored silk cushioning. Even with no one in them, they overlook the room with a royal presence. Down by the dining area sits Zephyr Martorin.
Before I say anything, are we allowed to curse in this?
Yeah, I don't have anything against that.
He's just sitting there thinking, these fuckers. Just reading a book in the corner, sort of out of the way of everyone. He kind of stands out. He's wearing extremely pale ivory and bluish robes. You see, even at this ball, he still has a mace hanging at his side. He was allowed to keep it only because he is a religious figure. Aside from that, you would see that he is a half-elven gentleman with ivory hair. And aside from that, I think you would notice that he is about 45 by human standards. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
As you're sitting there, an old man, looks to be a human man. He has kind of a tattered old cloak above his head, so you can't fully tell, but you can see a long gray beard emerging from it. He comes up to you and says, "I haven't seen you around these parts. You must be new. It's regular for us to see travelers around here. Where are you hailed from?"
Did we ever actually establish that? DM.
Oh dear.
You don't have to tell him if you don't want to.
I will respond, I hail from the Martorin family, but aside from that, there's nothing more that you really need to know. I do not know you, and you do not know me.
He chuckles for a moment and looks at you with a slight skepticism, but his warm smile kind of drowns it out. "Like to keep secrets, I see. I have no problem with that. My name is Ferris."
I like to read books, you see, and usually alone.
He kind of nods down at your book and looks around and notes the lonely area that you've chosen in the room. "Well, I see that. I'm quite a personable man myself, but I don't mind anybody who tends to keep to themselves. My name is Ferris Telhart."
Sorry about that. One more time.
He just said his name was Ferris Telhart.
"Hello, Ferris. My name is Zephyr Martorin, and I apologize on my standoffish attitude. I simply do not do well with balls."
Do well with what?
Well, this is a dance, right? It's ball?
Oh, ball. Sorry, it cut off.
Not those balls!
No, you got plenty of work with those. It just cut off at the last second, so I didn't hear, but I gotcha. He looks you up and down and is trying to get a read on you. "You're a student, I can tell. What brings you through this city?"
I'm a student of human nature, well, all natures really, but mostly the large library in the inner sanctum, the Therum district. I'm looking forward to securing a route there and continuing my studies there.
"You've come all this way just for a library, have you?"
I would go to the ends of the earth for a library.
He chuckles and kind of nods over at the large, grayish, green-skinned Goliath man standing next to him. He stands over you both, but you hardly notice him until just then because he was so quiet and kind of standing behind the man. He stands at about 7'4", and he sits down when Ferris nods at him. My name is Morin, he says, with kind of zero politeness and just sort of a jovial but curt tone to him. And he extends a large, stone-looking hand out to you to shake his hand.
Zephyr rolls his eyes with the sudden onset of popularity, closes his exceedingly large tome, sets it aside, puts on his gloves, and shakes the man's hand. He says, "My name is Zephyr Martorin of the Martorin family. I'm here simply for the ball and the library and nothing more."
He looks slightly offended by the tone you took, seeming not too excited to have met him, but quickly brushes it off, or maybe even forgets. Ferris is my dad. Ferris kind of puts his hand back to him, shaking his head a little bit. I'm not his father. I have been taking care of him for a very long time, but I'm not Morin's father. We're just close friends. He works on my fishing boat along with my other friend. It's always good to see a new face around here, and I hope to see you around, he says as he kind of stands up and leads Morin away from you.
Seeing the lack of noble pride and snobbiness, there's a slight bit of a smirk appearing on Zephyr's face, as much as that smirk may mean. And he responds with a slightly folded hands and a sort of a nervous scratch of his foot against the tile floor. He says, "Indeed, it is wonderful to speak to someone with at least virtues. It's quite rare in my world."
He smiles as he feels you're kind of opening up to him and just gives you a quick nod as he walks away, not wanting to disturb you anymore. And as you, sorry, one second, I'm getting up my notes. Yeah, as he walks away, you kind of, since your tome is down, you have another second to look around the room as you observe the first kind of change in sight as a large parade of women walk in, and each of them are kind of donned in kind of skimpy clothing, and you notice that one of them is completely nude, and that one of them has a completely different skin tone and just stands out from the rest of them. She stands taller, and she stands and walks with more purpose and passion. And behind them, seeming to lead them almost, even though he's standing behind, is a short, red-headed human man. He's almost looks like a dwarf, but you can tell he's definitely a human as he kind of guides them, pushing them from behind. And they kind of brush by you for a moment. Hold on. If that wasn't clear, Despair, one of them is you, by the way. The larger one. Okay, just making sure.
Despair will glance over to the half-elf and just kind of look back a little bit. Like, her demeanor overall is kind of, like, uninviting, in a way. It's like she doesn't really want to be there.
Zephyr looks over at her and goes, like, just with an eye line, he's like, "Yeah, I get it."
Yeah, and she kind of nods, and then she goes on.
As you guys have that small interaction, you see that as the short red-headed man kind of keeps moving, the group sits down, and instead of sitting on the open tables that are nearby, each of them sit on the ground with sort of a polite turn of their legs. You know, their legs aren't crossed, but they're just sitting at their side, all except for the man who just kind of walks away and lets them congregate there. And if you notice, you look around and you see people starting to kind of fan out and move towards the edges of the room. And you look towards the center as the chairs that were there before and the tables are cleared out of the way as an elven woman walks out onto the below the stage. You know, it leads up with stairs, but she's below it, in front of everybody's attention. And shortly after she sits, another man drags in a large golden harp with long strings and puts...
Does she play Stairway to Heaven?
I wish. She plays Wonderwall, actually.
Even better.
As you watch them kind of congregate towards you and form almost a crowd around the area, you look up and you notice the king and queen come and sit on their throne, and next to them, trailing behind slightly with a little skip tour walk, sits by them. The princess sits by them. She doesn't have a throne of her own. She sits on the floor next to her mother. I am still scrolling. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find
Take your
my
time,
note.
man. You're the DM. We're at your leisure.
It's all good.
Okay. When you look around, the dancing kind of stops and everyone moves to a crowd, but the noise continues. The cacophonous crowd's indistinguishable noises are kind of toned down instantly at the sight of this elven woman as she takes a seat next to the large golden harp. She takes a professional and poised position with her fingers near the thick wire strings and almost seems to be striking a pose for a photo. Or a painting, if you will. The crowd grows silent in an instant. The second that her fingers start to strum almost effortlessly, beginning to pull the strings of the harp as she dexterously plays the instrument. Her voice lets out a gorgeous tone that draws impressed gasps from a couple members of the audience before it grows silent again. Her soothing yet robust dulcet tones fill the room in her elvish tongue that only some in the crowd can understand, as four tall, slim dancers cascade onto the floor in front of her with a flourish. Each of them are adorned in matching white dresses with gold scarves and trim. The dancers seem like near copies of each other, four strikingly beautiful human women with diamond-cut features. In perfect unison with the music, they gracefully spin and sway with each other, with flawless athleticism. Each of their movements seems inspired by the highs and lows of the woman's voice and her harp, entrancing the audience. The music begins to speed up, the pace of the dancers following as the elf playing the harp quickly strums it, seemingly with minimal effort, producing complex melodies and that perfectly complement her smooth, high-pitched vocals. The music subtly growing louder as it speeds its tempo and energy to a perfect crescendo, seeming to enrapture the crowd, manipulating their energy to match its intense pace, rushing faster and faster, densely filling the room all at once. The music is forced to a stop by a loud, ear-splitting scream. The scream seems to have been cut off prematurely, but it lasted long enough for the silence of the room to go deaf for just a brief moment before loud murmuring of the crowd started to fill back up.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going. Are you going on, or are you gonna go on?
I am going on. It's like another
Okay.
sentence.
Sorry. Apologies.
The murmuring of the crowd slowly morphed into a confused panic. The sound seems sourceless, but after a moment there's a ruckus and it's apparent that it all came from outside. The majority of the crowd draws to the back of the room, protected by half of the guards as they try to calm everybody down, donning their weapons and putting their hands up, trying to keep everybody crowded, as the other half of the guards go outside with just a few party members brave enough to go out with them, following behind.
Question.
Yeah.
What's the lighting in here like?
It's very bright. It's well lit. There's a nice chandelier and there's candles everywhere. It's very well lit.
Is this happening outside the hall?
This is inside the hall. Everybody's kind of careening towards the outside where it is much darker. It is
So it's
the beginning of nighttime. Yeah.
Gotcha. In that case,
Criddy.
after
Sorry.
you.
Go on.
All right. In that case, I will cast light on my glove,
Okay.
just for my personal reference, and walk towards the commotion.
Okay. You're gonna follow along with the guards and the people going outside?
Yes.
Okay.
Toward the commotion.
All right. Perfect. What were you gonna say, Cosmic?
All right. So, first of all, one like Despair is just like not. She isn't in the groove with the music. Like, in fact, she really hates how loud it gets. Like, it irritates her to the point where she's just like, and then when she hears a scream, she like jolts up and then looks around like really distrustingly. And can I make a perception roll?
Yeah. Go ahead.
To see if like I can figure out what the scream is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so to find my okay, so it's just a D20 roll.
Nice.
I get 18.
First
You say
roll.
You say 18?
Yep. You can
Okay.
look at
plus
it in
your
chat.
bonuses.
I do
Yeah,
not have
I'm
any
not in the thing.
modifiers.
But all right, cool. So you look out and you try to look closer. Since you do stand taller than a lot of the people there, you kind of look out the door into the night, and you can't see what's happening, but you do see sort of a group starting to form. There's only about 4 or 5 people at first, but then it turns into 6 and 7, crowding around this area where in front of them all you see is guards, seeming to struggle with something.
Does Despair have her weapon?
I would say no. Nobody is armed right now.
Alright, gotta go with fucking WWE style.
Yep, so
I
Despair...
would assume I don't have my mace then. That's fine. Just wanted to make sure.
If you want to have concealed it on you, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have you make
I'll leave it. I'll leave it at home.
You're gonna leave it? Okay. Yeah.
So, Despair is going to walk over to the crowd, pushing people over because she has no regard for, like, any of the posh members, and she just gets into the front of the crowd and she looks at the scene. What's happening right now?
Okay, as you push through everybody, you do it pretty easily, as everybody seems to be kind of in a stunned silence as well. It's just not even moving, as they're just shocked by what they're seeing. And you push through, and one second.
Do what you gotta do.
Okay, sorry, my nephew was talking to me. So you walk out, and as you can push by everybody, you see that outside the manor, there's a small but slowly growing crowd beginning to form around an inner circle of guards that all have their weapons drawn. As you approach, you find a spot to peer through the shoulders and heads that are bumping together, and you witness a woman lying on the floor in a pool of dark crimson poured thickly directly from her neck. Her face is contorted in a pained scream, but no noise comes out. The horrifying sight was almost enough to avert the crowd's attention from the young boy kicking and fighting the 2 guards, attempting to haul him off. In an instant, he inexplicably escapes their grasp, dropping to the floor, crying loudly, "Mama! I'm so sorry, Mama!" As he screams out and cries and kicks and writhes on the ground, the guards slowly and sympathetically reach down to pick up the whimpering boy, seemingly trying to console him. Before they can even touch him, as they bend down, he springs up with a devilish smile, and he stabs one of the guards in the side with a piece of glass that he seemed to be holding under his coat.
Oh, shit.
And it immediately drops the guard to the ground with a pained scream as he holds himself, blood pouring out as he tries to cover it up. He lunges for the other one, but is instantly stopped by a sharp pike to the neck, killing him instantly.
Well,
Despair was just about to sock this boy in the face. She was
No, you weren't close
up
enough.
with her... okay, but
So-
she was... If she wasn't close enough, then she would have, like, almost ran into a sprint to get to this boy, but she just... She, like, taps on one of the guard's shoulders and she's just like, "Hey, what happened here?"
While he's talking to you, he's simultaneously trying to keep everybody calm, as everybody's obviously panicking, and the crowd from outside is kind of looked out there and seeing what's happening, and everyone's just in a panic. He tries to hold them back. "We're not sure, ma'am, but we're trying to figure it out right now, alright? Just please stand back. Please stand behind everybody." And he kind of pushes everyone behind, like, a line of guards. What'd you say?
I was just like, why should I? Why do I need to stand back?
We don't know what's happening, okay? It could be very dangerous. Just please, for your own safety and everybody else's, stand back. We don't know what's going
dead?
on. No, this is a guard. This is like, there's many guards.
No, I mean, she's gesturing to the boy. Isn't he dead?
Yes, he's dead, but we're just not sure, alright? Just please stand back so we can figure everything out. As you look, they're picking up the boy and the mother, and a group of guards is trying to carry them away. It's just the wreckage left on the ground of blood and crimson just everywhere. 2 of the guards have somebody, the stabbed guard, on their shoulder, helping him walk away. And slowly, as that all happens, the crowd remains, but only a couple guards do. Everyone's kind of talking and trying to converse information, and some people are trying to talk to the people in front who seem to have gotten there first to ask them if they saw anything.
Despair will try to listen on, like, the questions and the answers of the people to try to get more information.
You see a young halfling woman, and actually, go ahead and roll me perception for that. Roll me a quick perception.
Yeah, sure. That'll be 16.
All right. You see a young halfling woman speaking to a couple of people that are crouched down to hear her. No, I tell you, that was Selûne on the ground. I know her anywhere. I haven't seen her in a long time. She stays in her home, but that was her boy. It was her son that they carried off. And that's what you hear from them. And people are just kind of talking about Selûne and her son, Delic. You catch that their last name is Tukin, Tukin. And that's about all the info you get from that particular conversation. If I may ask, what is my boy Zephyr doing right now?
At this point, I would be curiously looking at the guards that are carrying the boy off, and I will be looking around the ground for any indication of magical tampering, rather.
Okay. You're looking around,
with the goal,
give me.
With the goal of determining whether or not some sort of enchantment was used.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. Would that even be? You're like searching for what
Arcana,
exactly are you looking for? Yeah, do an Arcana.
That's a straight roll for me, so I will just roll. 20. Natural 20.
I'm crap. I've children around me.
That was lucky.
Hey,
I don't get rolls like that.
You kind of stick your hand out, and as you go into this sort of trance, almost like a standing meditation, your hand begins to shake as you search for a magical energy, but what happens here doesn't seem to be magical in any way.
At this point, he would step back, let the light drain from his glove, and go back to acting like another observer in the crowd while he tries to investigate the area.
As you're looking around, and as the crowd is kind of conversing, you see a large green half-orc with a top knot kind of pushing through people. As he notices the blood, he's just kind of pushing through, and he comes to the center of the crowd where you two are. That's you, Aces.
Wait, I think Aces.
I'm not an half-orc.
Okay, wait, what are you saying?
Isn't he like the Alchemist?
No, wait, what?
I am the Alchemist.
The Alchemist.
Criddy, did you think I was a half-orc the entire time?
No, what am I, an idiot? I've been looking at the wrong character sheet.
No
Writing
comment.
for the wrong character sheet. You think I'm that dumb,
Yeah,
my
that's
guy?
Peanut Butter's character.
It was,
No comment.
He totally did, guys.
you think I'm a moron with
I am
organization?
so insulted. I just got to leave right now. I'm sorry.
You think
Sure,
you're
well.
He's stalling. Take your time, man. We'll wait.
Wait, are you Arshad?
Yeah, I'm Arshad.
Oh my god.
It's okay,
Dang,
man.
have it, Criddy.
I can cut this out. I won't.
Okay, well, instead of an orc.
These things happen.
Yeah, I can go ahead and just start if you want me to.
Yeah, hit it up, bro.
Let me through! I'm a trained professional. Ugh. Gods above. Ugh. Cover my mouth with like a kerchief.
Oh, dear.
Alright, so as he pushes through, Arshad is a human man. He has dusky brown skin, brown hair, a very thin brown beard on his face. He is dressed a little bit more, shall we say, slovenly, otherwise known as, dirty and, disheveled compared to everyone else. He's wearing like this brown leather trench coat, which is kind of flared out at the bottom, as every good trench coat is. And dangling from every single nook and cranny on this trench coat is just a variety of pottles and, like small herb bundles and all those sorts of things. On his head, he has a pair of goggles, and he immediately drops those goggles down and starts clicking them and zooming in on the area and looking down at the blood. Oh, this is disgusting. So I would like to roll not an Arcana check, I would like to roll an investigation check, Criddy.
Absolutely. Please
All
do.
right. So 1d20 plus 5. That'll be a 7.
Ooh.
Only
off
they
to a good
hadn't
start
moved the
tonight.
body.
Yep.
You kind of, you bend down, and you don't take a very thorough look as the sight before you is absolutely gruesome. The final spurt of blood finally releases from the woman's neck, and you look down, too disgusted to investigate close. Kind of behind your hand in front of your face, you just kind of peer through and see blood that is slightly tinged. Right, it's dark, but it has almost a green hue to it.
Huh. I would like to kneel down a little bit, and can I just use like a torch or something from my pack to like kind of poke the blood a little bit?
Yeah. Go ahead and I guess like.
Roll to poke blood.
I don't even know you have to roll for that. Just do that.
Yeah, just like reach down, just kind of dip, dip, with the stick.
Yeah, as you poke it just seems like blood. The color is a little off, but everything else seems to add up.
Okay, I'm going to take one of my extra vials, and I'm going to kind of scoop up a little bit of that into my vial, and just kind of like, that is very odd. These do not usually happen.
Alright. Nice.
I'm entranced with the blood as I swirl it around inside the little glass vial.
I lean over his shoulder and take a look.
Do you want to hit investigation? Do you want to like investigate it? Or
No, I'm just looking.
At it?
I'm not a medical man, but I have some medical training. Nothing huge.
It takes a surprisingly long time for him to notice that you're leaning over his shoulder. Just like, oh, I apologize, good sir. Do you require any assistance?
No, I'm simply interested.
It's very intriguing, isn't it? Such a strange tint to the blood. I wonder, some form of alchemical imbalance, I suppose. Might have to take this back home and investigate it.
Indeed. I'm more interested in the action that just took place. It doesn't seem to be of a magical nature, but I don't know what would cause such a boy to react that way without any sort of provocation.
I know. You hear a woman from behind you speak up. She was clearly listening in on your conversation. It's like a bright, red-headed, young human woman. And she's kind of looking right at the blood with just a disgusted look on her face. I know.
Do
those
tell?
people. As you probably heard everybody talking about. That's Faradin and Delek Tuken. I knew Faradin very well. She spent a lot of time around town, and she was an active member of the community. That's not how you spell them, but it's probably because of my butchered accent. I will put it in.
No. It's canon. They're two cans now.
Okay, it's easy. It's a said and done. I knew Faladin very well, and she used to be an active member of the community. Used to come by my bathhouse all the time. She had a lot of money to spend until something changed. She used to come by with her boy, and one day she came by, and it was not the same boy. He was very angry, yelling at his mother, constantly yelling at her. And I saw scratches on her face one time when she came in, as he seemed more aggressive. I never saw them much after that, but I know something was wrong. I didn't know it would end like this, but I knew something was wrong.
And he just suddenly changed one day?
Yes, it was out of nowhere. I wish I could have gotten more info on it, but I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to intrude. It was just 2 days that I saw them. 2 days in a row he seemed to have gotten from the nice, sweet boy, Delek, I knew, to this mother scratching beast of a child. I don't know. I've never seen him cause a ruckus before in my life until that day.
I know it sounds a little bit like my cousin.
I would like I would like to insight this chick to see if she's hiding anything.
Go ahead.
That's a +5. So that would be 10.
Oh boy.
I see nothing.
You look at her face and you really can't read anything. All you just you see her speaking with a look of disgust, and she doesn't meet your gaze at any point. She just keeps looking at the pool of blood with this look of almost betrayal on her face.
So, does Despair hear all of this?
Yeah, you're close enough to hear it. The crowd is
So-
pretty much dispersed, and you're close enough to hear it.
So, Despair will just say, well, someone has at least some form of information. You're the
She nod-
only, really.
She nods at you.
reliable person here with any leads.
Yeah, well,
She's
Arshad's
still quite
just got-
nervous. People know her. She turned into a hermit. That's probably why I'm the last person to have seen her. The bathhouse was her favorite place to go, but like I said, I hadn't seen her much after.
And what is your name?
Oh, my name is Nym. Nym Yellery. Nym, Nym, Yellery. Yelrie.
There we go.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, just for comedy, Arshad is literally just doing like the blood back and forth, like a what's it called?
Like a wine glass.
Exactly. It
Blood has legs.
Ugh, smells like
Zephyr
fine
is
vintage.
mildly disturbed by his love of blood. He starts
How
thinking.
odd for a person, Despair said.
Yeah, Nym sees you sniff the blood and takes a barely noticeable but purposeful step back.
I
That's
put
fair.
my hand over the glass flask and I say, "Time and place."
Well, I don't actually know what it is composed of, then I cannot actually tell where it came from. You do realize this, yes?
It is coming from her fucking neck. You know that, right?
Actually, it came from the ground. I just got it from the ground right now. You can see the blood right there. Look at it.
Zephyr
Yes,
face
but it came
palms.
from her neck.
Zephyr what?
Zephyr face palms.
Yeah. And
They say,
yeah.
"I have no grace."
And then just sort of like keep looking around. But this is very odd, and I might require alchemical analysis for this, but I would have to go back to my workshop.
It
to
may
be able to
be
tell.
odd, but there's a time and a place to sniff blood.
But how am I
I
supposed to
don't-
tell whether or not it is good or not?
I don't know that
I
there
don't
is a
understand
time
people.
and place to sniff blood.
By this time, as you guys argue over the vial of sniffed blood, Nym has made her merry way away and wants
Wine
nothing to
woman.
do with any of these crazy people.
Good plan.
And if you look around, you notice the crowd is pretty much entirely dispersed by now, but you weren't even looking in that direction, but you feel kind of a sense in the back of your neck, and some of you turn around and you see this regal-looking young girl, a human girl, walk out. And she's wearing a long white dress with one nice gold scarf across it, and she just steps down, and as she draws nearer, she sits down with her legs to her side in front of the pile of blood, and just starts to cry.
Oh dear.
Oh, my.
Is anyone good with young children? I am not very known for
She's not
my,
that young. She's like 20.
Is anyone good with young children? I do not know these things.
I lean down onto my left knee, and I hold out a gloved hand, and I say, "Did you know her?"
She takes a minute to compose herself, and she wipes a few tears off of her.
I hand her a handkerchief.
Not personally, but I just hate to see anybody from my... She kind of chokes on her cry for a moment. Anybody in my city come to a fate like this.
Do I recognize this as Princess Kasana?
You do. As you look closer, and she kind of puts her matted hair, and you see past her cried-over makeup, and you notice that it is Princess Kisana Verloria.
I immediately realize my faux pas and kneel back down, I guess, as I'm about to stand up.
Oh, you like kneel for her?
I'm like, "Oh, shit." Oh. I just kneel
She
back
notices
down.
what you're doing and kind of puts a hand out, and with like a shaking gesture. You don't have to do that. I appreciate the gesture and the respect, but you don't have to.
I stand back
promise.
up and I help her to her feet if she allows me.
She extends like a polite hand and lets you help her up, and wipes off her tears again. Does any of you know what happened here? You seem to be looking at it quite closely.
So,
I-
Despair... Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Well,
I just
actually,
sort
Despair...
Meanwhile, snorting away.
Just something really quick. I look
Okay.
over to the blood sniffer and I say, "Yes, some more than others."
Yeah. So then Despair like cuts herself in, and she's like, "These guards, you hired these guards, right?"
She nods her head, very frantically, as I'm pretty sure you just said you cut yourself. Is that what I heard?
No.
I think she means she cuts in.
She
Oh!
just cuts in.
That's what I thought you just
Cutting
like.
in, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, big
she-
difference.
like,
Very big difference.
Yep. So yeah, she just cuts in. She's like, and then she asks that question. That happens, and then she's just like, these guards know shit, you know that, right? Like,
she kind of... She takes a moment to think as she takes offense to that statement, clearly. I promise it's not like that. I can tell that you're all new here, but my guards and my people are really excellent, and they're really well trained, I promise. They're just confused and scared is all. We don't see a lot of stuff like this around here, but we are more recently.
Curteous,
okay.
A private message.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, let me look, sorry.
So to continue the conversation, Despair has, like, she doesn't really realize that she offended the princess. But she's just like, so, she goes on to say, we found a woman who was laying down in a pool of her blood, who probably screamed out by being stabbed. And there is this little boy with her, and apparently that he was the perpetrator, and that he got stabbed by a pike from a guard. And that's all we know. Well, we do know a little bit info about her herself, but I can't particularly remember about it.
What we know little.
She nods her head and she's like, I heard people talking. I just heard bits and pieces, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to hear anymore. It was Farrellin and Delic, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
She kind of looks down and cringes at the sight of the blood again and almost begins to cry, but is able to hold it back. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your help.
I'm sorry.
And she looks at the man with the vial of blood.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you found anything? She kind of, nods her head at your weird blood molestation.
Yeah. So Arshad is not even acknowledging that he's in the presence of royalty right now. He's just kind of like, I think I'm onto something here. Something about this. Alchemically, it isn't balanced. This is not proper humor distribution. Something divert about this. I would require analysis in my own lab. Do you mind? And he kind of like casually looks over at her. Do you mind if I just take this? I will need it to test inside my lab.
The blood?
Yeah, just like the vial of blood I have.
She just immediately nods, like, excited. Yes, please, anything you can do to help, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Very well. Just put it inside the coat. There's just like 1,000 vials on the inside, slotted into one of the empty spaces. I will require at least, I'd say, 4 hours of analysis, and if I can do this, I believe I will be able to work out exactly what got into her system. Yes, it seems a very simple, though very complex means of entrance. I apologize, ma'am. He turns and he realizes who he's talking. He's like, and then just immediately falls onto his knees and just says, I'm so sorry, man. I did not realize. I'm very sorry. I did not realize anything.
She slightly chuckles for seemingly the first time in a while. No, it's okay. It's okay. And she extends a polite hand out and tries to help you back up to your feet.
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, anyways, I apologize greatly, but I will require at least a little bit of time. The Alchemical Guild has access to the things I would need, but unfortunately, these things take requisition, and you know how things are with guilds. They take time and too much money sometimes. But
anything you need from me, I can help you out, I promise. I'm just so thrilled that you've offered to help in any way.
Your Highness, I would never ask such a thing of you. No. This would be on the guild's honor to deal with this ourselves.
She gives you kind of a wide-eyed look and just kind of nods, shocked. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
On my honor as an alchemist, I will find out who did this to her. Do not worry.
Basically, the second you finish that sentence, you hear a loud, kind of deep voice coming from the entrance of the hall that you all exited. Kisana!
Oh,
you hear it. Before she even hears the end of it, she bows down, gives you a slight curtsy. I must be going now. And she just kind of runs off, lifting her skirt to run through the dirt and get back inside. As you see King Evandril give you a quick nod before closing the door behind both of them.
Zephyr, checking frantically to find that he does indeed have his book, breathes a heavy sigh of relief and turns to the alchemical gentleman to his side and says, "You are a learned man. Do you have books in your possession that I might request to read?"
Well, I do not have them with me, per se. I more keep them back in the Alchemical Guild's library. But I could probably get them out on loan for you. I must warn you, they're very dense.
I do not mind dense subjects. I must ask, though, are they all alchemical?
But yes, that's why we have an Alchemical Guild library for all of our topics.
He sighs and he's just like, I see. Don't worry about it.
Yes. And you, ma'am, and he turns around and realizes that he's talking to a giant, tall, naked tiefling woman. He's like,
Yeah,
very
Zephyr
nice to meet you. I'm
realizes.
very sorry about earlier.
Zephyr notices her attire now, not paying attention until now, and he's just like, and he blushes and turns away, and he's just like, oh shit.
What?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I did not realize that you were of such a design.
She's really confused.
Yeah, I did not realize you were of such a political affiliation. I apologize. I did not know.
I reach
I'm
my
now
head.
blind myself so I can see you, and I put on my goggles and look back.
I
You're
reach,
completely black, so I can't see anything.
I reach my hand onto your
You
shoulder.
think I'm fucking ugly or something?
I reach my hand onto your
No,
shoulder.
man, no.
I reach my hand onto the alchemist's shoulder and I say, different cultures, different values. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it.
No. I'm looking. Don't worry. I have them on. I just, at the same time, I can't see. It's perfect. I have solved this problem instantly.
Despair's hair, like kind of slightly flares up with her, like, she's, like, almost, like, slipping into, like a distrustful rage, but then she just... You know what? I'm not dealing with this today. I'm going... Goodbye. And she tries... And... Okay, so, Criddy, Despair is gonna try to go back to, like, her home base, to get her axe, because she feels like there's gonna be more encounters of this sort of thing. She has, like, a feeling to her, but she doesn't really want to say anything about it to the two gentlemen, because she just simply doesn't trust them, and she's in a really bad mood.
Are they stored at your place of business, or are they in the woods?
I feel like it would, in my opinion, and I feel like her owl bear would also be there.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
We have an owl there. Yes.
Oh my god,
Baby owl bear.
This is gonna go just as well as Dice Camera Action.
Yep, basically.
Anyway, I'm going to head to the doorman who confiscated my weaponry.
Okay. It's a guard dressed basically like everybody else, but the only weapons he has on them seem to belong to somebody else. They're not the same pikes that the rest of the guard were carrying, and he kind of throws his weird rucksack in front of him and extends it. Which one is yours?
The one with the crossbow, the mace, and the shield.
Let me see your wrist.
I hold out my wrist.
And you see, he looks at your kind of makeshift wristband thing and checks the color on it and looks back at the pack, checks the color on your wristband, and without any effort just kind of pulls it all out and hands it over to you, throwing the pack back on. Here you go.
I struggle and put as much of it on as I can.
Alright.
Right. I'm going to head back to my lab because I'm actually seriously going to start spending some time analyzing this because something's up.
Okay, where is your place of residence in this town, you're saying?
Yeah. I'd say it's probably just adjacent and or inside the Alchemical Guild, which I'm assuming is somewhere in the city.
Right. Yeah. So it's in the it's gonna be in the Theromet district then. Wait, so yeah, your lab is in the actual thing, the guild?
What?
Or is it like your own personal place that's your own digs, you know what I'm saying?
I think I probably have like a place where I live, like back, outside the walls, because, I'm a pleb. But
yeah.
I think actually in terms of like where all the best stuff and all the best like labs, because I'm assuming it'd be like a sort of university thing where you just have your own separate like labs you can rent out, that sort of thing. Right. I'm going to go pull an all-nighter and try and do some analysis on this thing.
Okay. Alright. And who does that leave? Oh, you got your stuff. Okay, where are you going to go?
At this point, I'm going to stand at the position where the body was. I'm going to pull out some tokens, little bones, and I'm going to cast Augury, which I can't link it here, but by casting gem-inlaid sticks, rolling dragon bones, etc., you receive an omen from the otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. My question,
in English, please.
My question to the god, I guess, would be you, or in this case, Selûne, my goddess. will the killer kill again? And I cast the bones down. And the answers can be wheel for good results, woe for bad results, or wheel and woe for both.
What is that like? What it's saying? Wheel
That's
or woe?
literally what it's saying. So good,
Well,
bad,
what it
or
says-
nothing, or something kind of in between.
Think of it kind of like a yes and no sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. As you do this, you kind of bend over in front of the now slightly congealed pool of blood, and you listen and intently focus as you hear, "Wheel."
Shit.
Yeah, that's what you hear.
That's what she was worried about. Sorry, he.
And where are you going to Well, are you done here? Are you going to investigate anything else?
At this point, I'm going to head back to the inn where I was staying.
Okay.
Just
Alright, so-
picking up my bones and heading in that direction.
All right. All of you kind of walk off at separate times and don't really see each other on the way back. But as he left last, you do see. Sorry. Zephyr runs into the tall Goliath man that he spoke to before, and he's standing by the sort of gate entrance of the Therum district, and he's just sitting there with his head in his giant hands. Oh no! As he sees you pass, and as you walk by, he kind of grabs you by the arms very gently and kind of surprisingly gently for his size. Did you see it?
I did.
I don't know where Ferris is. Have you seen Ferris?
It's alright. Calm down. I can help you find him if you would like.
Before you can even finish that sentence, the old man with the gray beard kind of walks up, pinching the bridge of his nose. I'm right here! Ugh. And he puts his head back in his face. Sorry about him. Just don't worry about him. We'll be on our way. And you see them kind of walk back towards kind of the dock area. Like, you can't see the docks yet, but you can tell that's where he's headed to. And along with them, you see a red-skinned tiefling kind of leaning on a wall nearby, and he rolls his eyes and gets off of it and follows them.
I will watch them walk away with a curious look and carry on my way.
Alright, yeah, you just see Ferris kind of almost seeming to scold Morin as you can't hear any words, but he looks like he's defending himself, and you can just hear, like, the deep bass of Morin's voice, but you can't really recognize any words. And Vialis is just kind of shaking his head as he walks behind them with his hands in his pocket. I didn't mean to tell you his name, but his name's
That's
Vialis.
okay, I already forgot it. But now you repeated it, so now I know it.
Yeah.
I guess I will head back to the inn, and while I do that, I will keep a very close, tight hand on my crossbow.
Alrighty. Let me look for something really quick.
One hand on my amulet. Oh, which I forgot to describe earlier. It's a circle of 7 stars with inside the middle a pair of elegantly drawn eyes pressed into a piece of silver.
Ooh, okay.
It's the symbol for Selûne, the knowledge goddess. Also known as the moon goddess.
Okay, as you you're going to the inn, right?
Yes, indeed.
Alright, as you walk in, you see you're out of the Therum district by now, so the buildings get less and less fancy and high class as you exit, and you see the inn. That's pretty humble, but it doesn't look, poor or broken down or anything, and you walk in, and you see, instead of the familiar inn owner, Yora, that you're used to, you see a, wait, do you live in this town?
I do not. I arrived the other day.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but you've met the inn owner, that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
By then, yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah, so instead of seeing the usual inn owner that you've learned her name is Yora, you see a black-haired elven woman of, like, she's like sort of a young woman, maybe about the human age, I guess, of like 30. But she looks much older than, like, her face, her expression makes her look much older, and She looks very stressed out as she. I read the wrong thing, so let me scroll up as I'm speaking.
It's okay, don't worry about it.
Okay. She's an elven girl, about the age of 30, with kind of hard features that make her look aged. Her eyes are covered by a white blindfold, but you can see that she still has a kind of stressed look about her. She deals with a couple customers as you walk up, and the customers walk away. What can I do for you?
Yes, where is Yora? She's usually here.
She puts her fingers up to the bridge of her nose. I'm very sorry. Lots of people are not used to me being here. I kind of run the inn behind the scenes when Yora's not here. My name is Persephone. She puts out her hand and kind of offers to shake yours.
Sorry, just writing. I return the hand gesture with a gloved white hand, and I kiss her hand, and I say, "A pleasure to meet you, Persephone. I meant no offense."
A slight half smile kind of comes across her face as she turns her head slightly to hide her mild blush as she goes, Yora may not be here, but I can take care of things while she's gone. Let me show you to your room. It may have changed in the little ownership mix-up, but I will show you where you stay.
That's quite.
And she leads you off to a separate building that has a couple of rooms in it, and opens a door for you. You can stay here for now. I'm sorry if it's a little bit of a downgrade from your last room, but if you have any issues with it, please let me know.
I have no concerns about it, but I do have a concern as to why the room changed.
I just get things a little mixed up when Yora left, and she left in sort of a hurry and didn't want to keep anything straight because she's not organized and I'm organized. Really nothing more than that.
Yes,
I have more things to do than just run this inn, and she thinks I can handle all of this stress, but whatever.
I lean in and I say, yes, of course, Yora can be inconsiderate at times, and I'm trying to build up a rapport here. And I say, but to be perfectly honest, you don't need to hide anything. I know how Yora acts, and you don't need to. You can trust me with what really happened. And I'm trying to do a persuasive argument towards. There's clearly something else going on, and I'm trying to dig.
Go ahead and roll me persuasion.
Sure, that's a +3 for me, so... 10. Yeah, no.
She kind of smiles, a little bit flattered by how close you already feel to her. I would never try to hide anything from you or anybody else.
No, of course not, of course not.
I hope you enjoy your stay. She kind of said... She kind of, not rudely, but closes the door behind you with a little finger wave and closes it.
Yeah, I saw that coming. And as the door closes, Zephyr goes, "Fuck." And
all right,
yeah, naturally inquisitive son of a bitch.
All right, I want to go check on Mr. All-Nighter over here.
Oh yeah, here we go.
What you doing, my guy? Okay. You've gotten back to your lab, and you seem to be the only one there at this late of an hour.
Naturally. So I kind of push into like my little corner of the lab, which is of course like more chaotic and dirty than everyone else's, relatively ordered and that sort of thing. Just behind me, there's like a variety of different concoctions and also poultices and all sorts of things that you can go into ingredients and stuff. In the corner is like a half-built metal lump of something that it's really hard to determine what it is, but you think you might see a beak or a wing sticking out every once in a while. Not quite sure. Meanwhile, he just like sweeps off an entire selection of various glasses that are on the ground, that are on the work desk that he's at right now, which all fall off with a crash, several explosions, and for some reason a lot of smoke. And he kind of like, out of his jacket, he pulls out the little vial and sets it on the table in a little beaker, and he's just like, "Now we begin the work." Yep. And then I'm going to use. Can I use my alchemical feat? Basically. Take 20 or take all night to basically go over this thing with everything that I know to try and determine what, besides what is making the blood turn green, basically.
Yeah, go ahead. I read your brief synopsis of it. I'm not super sure I get it, but I'm in. Yeah,
so my main thing with that, is just that I use my alchemist supplies to do that, which I have a lot of proficiency in.
What are you rolling for?
So when you use a tool, you just roll a d20 plus your proficiency plus your skill, or whatever it's in. But because I'm an alchemist and I have expertise in various tools from the. By the way, everyone who's listening, we use the Unearthed Arcana Alchemist build that came out in 2017. We are currently waiting on the update, but for now, Arshad is built with the 2017 Alchemist build. Anyways, getting back to the main point, I'm using that because it has tool expertise, which lets me add double my proficiency bonus. So, anyways, getting back to this, I'm just going to roll my d20 to see what I find with this thing.
Which, if anyone listening has not tried it, Alchemist build is dope.
Yeah. That will be a 20, not natural.
Okay. Still pretty dumb. Go ahead and describe me what you're doing with it right now. Just like, because you're working your lab. Tell me what your process is.
All right. So the first thing first is that I'm isolating that blood from everything else, but don't contaminate.
Okay.
And I'm going to first things first try to replicate it, like something that I would do. But I'm going to use little vials of my own blood, which I of course extracted and saved for later usage. And I'm just testing it by pouring various poultices and various potions into it to see what happens. And if they don't work, just toss them into the garbage.
Okay.
And then eventually, I'm going to just start actually experimenting on that blood itself. So I'm going to add like a little bit, drop a little bit of it out, add a little bit of, I don't know, Griffin's eyeball mashed up with, I don't know, dryad root or something like that, mixed together, and all that sort of thing. Just trying to see what reacts in a certain way, and specifically what. I'm very especially looking forward to if there's anything that would make it out to be some sort of necrotic energy. I don't know, some sort of poison, some sort of generally bad thing, shall we say?
Okay. As you go through it, the first thing you can tell right off the bat, before you do any extreme experimentation, you can tell that there was more than one person's blood. Two, to be specific, mixed in here. And you notice one of them seems relatively untainted in parts of it, but the more you work with it and the more you kind of tamper with it, the infected sort of green tinge blood takes over the regular blood, and it eventually replaces the entire thing with this green tinged blood. And the more you use it, the greener it gets, and until it gets to this just dark green, nearly black color. What else do you find while you're doing that? You can tell that clearly the blood wasn't always that way. It's some sort of thing affecting it, some sort of poison. You can tell that it was ingested, let's say. So some sort of poison was ingested, and it caused the blood to be this way. And you can see that the blood is almost attacking. When you drip your own blood in there, as you said, it almost instantly turns it. It brings it to its own color and reactiveness.
Okay, and then when I'm done all of that, and I think I've gotten all I can I try and destroy it with just a vial of acid by dropping it in there?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a roll for that, too. I don't know what the hell you rolled last time, but...
yeah, so I just got 20, so d20 plus 7. In this case, it's interesting because I just have alchemical acid on me at all times for my alchemical satchel.
Okay.
So basically, I just take one out, and it's 2d6 acid damage. I just, or explosion or smoke or whatever comes out of it.
Remember to resupply every once in a while.
Oh, I don't have to, you see, because the thing is that the alchemical satchel resupplies automatically.
That's
dope.
As long as I have it on me. Yeah.
That is mad dope. As you pour it on, you pour enough of it to kind of create like maybe a centimeter thick layer of blood that doesn't mix at first. Layer of acid that doesn't mix with the blood at first, and it's kind of sizzles between them. It almost looks like two dueling, liquids, like water and oil, but they start to mix together. But between them, where they touch, it's like a smoke that comes out. And eventually, as they start pushing against each other, it just in one swoop turns the acid into this. It smokes most of it out, but the remains are just turned into the blood, and you have about the same amount of blood in there, and the acid doesn't burn through any of it.
Very, very concerning. I put the strongest cork that I have on that thing to make sure it doesn't come out and try to eat me. And I put it into my satchel, and I'm assuming I look out the window and the sun's come up.
Yes.
Alright. I'm like, good, nice work. And then I just go, I don't know, have whatever the alchemical equivalent of coffee, 7 coffee Red Bulls of my coffee is.
And before the night wraps up, It is for you, but I want to kind of timeline a little bit and see what Despair was doing through the night.
So, what Despair was doing, she was going to go to her home base to grab her axe and make sure that her baby owlbear is okay, because
Small bab.
if anything happens to her owlbear, she is going to murder.
Baby owlbear must live.
Yeah, so basically, if it's the old, Rhino from, what's it called? Damn it. There we go. Yeah.
I still don't even know.
Fuck it, I'll find the meme, give me 1 sec.
As soon as you kind of return back to the, your place of business, I'll say, to not metagame, and the second you walk in with purpose, you grab your weapon and kneel down and put your hand out for your owlbear. Is he excited? Well, is it a he or she?
I think it's a he. Yeah, it's a he.
Okay, your owlbear excitedly kind of crawls up to you and goes, just kind of, presses his head against your hand, showing that he's A-okay.
She smiles really. She has this like really big cute grin to her because she loves this thing so much.
Aww.
Interrupting your grin and your happy feelings is a loud kick as the door slams open, led by Lewin. Should I metagame and tell him where you're at, or do you want to save that? Because I can't.
I mean, I don't mind. Honestly, it's player to.
Our characters will not know. Players might know, but the characters won't know.
Okay. Lewin, the short, red-headed gentleman from earlier, kicks the door open, followed by many of the women behind him, just kind of lined up, almost holding hands, as he kicks in the door of the brothel. Despair, what are you doing here?
I have come to take my stuff. Why?
You separated from the group. I tell you every time that we leave, you do whatever you want, but you stay with the group. What is so difficult about that?
Why do I need to stay with the group?
So I can make sure where you all are at all times. If you turn around and look, he points to them kind of holding hands and looking very fearful as he's raising his voice. They all stayed where they were, and they will face no punishment, and they will face no bad judgment from me. You, however, I can never keep an eye on because you're leaving, and I can't keep track of where you're going, Despair. You and your owlbear. He kind of spits down at the ground, not on the owlbear, but near it.
Ooh.
Despair kind of growls a little bit. She kind of just looks down. Look, something happened, and I was worried about my pet. Please, just leave me alone. She like out of character, just saying like she's just not in the mood for any of this shit.
As he's giving you this look, like with a raised eyebrow and just an angry expression with his hands on his hips, as he snaps his fingers and points to the other room, as although the other women just kind of shuffle in there like nervously and close the door behind them. He puts down his arms and with a more calm demeanor, Despair, I can't keep having this conversation with you. I know that things happened and I know you care about your owlbear, but I tell you every day, you do not separate. You understand?
She sighs. Understood. I'm sorry.
He nods and kind of ruffles your hair a little bit and then pets the owlbear with the back of his hand as the owlbear, instead of sweetly engaging with him, just immediately shuffles backward, kind of cowering away from him. He gives a chuckle and just kind of walks away into the other room.
Despair watches him leave, and she kind of longingly looks out the window. Could she make a perception check, because what she was planning on doing was hunting down any suspicious people, maybe pertaining to the murder.
What do you want to look at specifically?
She wants to find any sort of suspicious individuals that could be a culprit of some kind, because what she is feeling right now, murder deal, is that maybe something possessed someone. So she's trying to see if they have kind of the same demeanor the boy had.
Okay, who's they? Like the girls and Win?
No, it would be like anyone outside the brothel.
Oh, okay, you kind of peek outside. I'll get him to get the sorry.
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, the perception roll.
Okay. 4.
Well,
You kind of look out, and behind your tears of anger, almost can really barely see and barely think. To be honest, as you look out the door, as you slightly crack it open, you see people kind of returning to their homes, and lights turning or candles going off, and people just turning in for the night. And you close the door.
Understood. So, Despair being, like, she feels pretty awake. Like, she's sort of, like, bored at this point. Like, she doesn't really want to have the conversation, like, with the brothel owner again. So she just goes to bed. And she, like, well, before she actually goes to bed, she, like, will feed her owlbear. She will cuddle and pet it, and then she'll go to bed.
Okay.
If I could, I'd like one more thing.
Nope. No, I'm just kidding. Go
Alright,
ahead.
cool. Before I go to sleep, I will choose to use Augury one more time, but this time asking about whether or not Yora is alive.
and then, sorry, to add on to that, Criddy, what happens at that point is you can actually say that there is, I think you roll, and there's a certain number you have to beat to actually get in there.
For augury?
Yeah, because you can't use it more than once per day, if I remember correctly.
If you cast the spell 2 or more times before completing your next long rest, there's a cumulative 25% chance for each casting of the after the first that you get a random reading. So you will make that roll in secret.
Bruh, I'm supposed to bring math out here. It said 25%.
1 in 4.
Yeah.
So okay.
You basically roll a d4, but on your own, not visible to us.
Yeah. I've got it.
So it might be a random reading. But I'm aware of that, and I'm willing to take that risk. Is Yora alive?
Where are you? Going back up to the front desk to ask
I'm
Persephone?
actually in my room at the moment, and I'm just dropping the
Oh,
bones.
I'm tripping. You're using augury for okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Give me the roll.
Oh, 1 sec here.
Do you need a
No
roll?
roll.
Or- yeah, you
No
do.
roll. It's just
Oh, it's just mine. Okay.
this spell does not take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as the blah blah blah. But for the next 30 minutes, is she alive?
You hear another tingle up the back of your neck as you hear, "Will."
That bodes well, and I go to bed.
All right. Everyone's sleeping.
Motherfucking nap time! Wait, I'm not sleeping. Never mind.
You're in a crazed panic over this vial of blood. In your laboratory. Are you gonna? Oh yeah, you pulled an all-nighter. So you went till the morning. All right. So the next morning, you what do I got? I keep pulling up your names. I keep forgetting your names last second. The next morning, Zephyr is kind of woken up by just the hustle and bustle of people leaving the inn, and people, Persephone entering to kind of clean and take care of the rooms. And you kind of hear her mumbling under her breath outside of the room, just frustrated by having to handle the duties around there.
The moment I wake up, I will reach for my holy symbol, put it around my neck, and get dressed in my pale blue robes. Is there a bath in this inn, or is that more of a bathhouse thing?
No, there's no bath in this inn.
Okay, he will grumble and get his gloves on so as not to damage his books, pack them all up, and start walking with all of his, not very numerous equipment. I will walk downstairs and I will say hello to Persephone and just say, yes, I slept very well, thank you very much for that, and I continue on my way.
She kind of nods as you speak. Almost as you're exiting, like you didn't even want to talk to her. She gives you kind of a perplexed look, and
She's a
just
busy
wait.
woman. I'm not gonna bother
Yeah, fair
her.
enough. Fair enough. She gives you a nice a nod and another little finger wave as you exit. Where are you exiting to, may I ask?
I'm heading back towards the entrance to the Therum district.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can procure my way through.
All right. In the meantime, I just want to see what everyone else is doing for the morning. We'll start with Arshad.
Alrighty. So I'm basically, as I said, just still kind of staring at this little strange vial that I occasionally pull out and look at. Meanwhile, as I said, I'm doing whatever the alchemical equivalent of like Red Bull in your coffee is, so I am just fucking vibrating by the time I'm done.
You made it yourself?
Oh yeah. I'm fucking. I technically have the secret to life in my possession. So yeah, I'm basically vibrating as I sit there.
Jesus, you're gonna die early.
Oh yeah.
Young, I mean, not like in
The first D&D death to heart failure in
all of history.
Oh, that's glorious.
You say that, but I've got Constitution I've got fucking Asian in Constitution.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Exactly. I'll just fucking sweat it all out. Probably.
You've taken too many. You've taken
and despair.
you've taken too many drugs before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's basically like my liver is literally fucking iron. Like it's better probably than Despair's liver at this point. It is fucking bulletproof. I can put anything into it.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That man's a heavy drinker. All right, what are you doing in your Red Bull panic?
Yeah, basically, I'm just kind of doing all this sort of stuff. Then I have an idea, actually. What I want to do on top of that is I'm going to finish, of course, the half the coffee just kind of on a mug and rush back to my work table. Probably brushing by whoever's coming in for the morning shift at the alchemical guild. I'm like, very sorry. Good morning. I must talk in a second. And I'm going to get back to my table. And instead of destroying it with acid, I'm going to try something different this time. I'm going to set it back up on speaker. And then out of my alchemical satchel, I'm going to pull out a vial of my healing draught. So my healing draught is an alchemical formula, once again, that you can get from the PDF that Wizards put out in 2017. What that is...
We trust you, man.
Are you sponsored? They
know too much. No. But what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to then pop the top off of that and just start pouring the healing draught, which is, of course, a healing potion in all but name, into this new thing. I should put out the healing draught. It's a little unrefined, shall we say? So it kind of looks like, the symbiote from Spider-Man 3?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to pour down your throat at some point if you need to get healed. So
I will do my best not to die.
Yeah. I'm going to pour it down into that, and so there's 2 black items, but I want to see what healing potions would have effect on it. And I watch very closely.
Onto the blood?
Yeah.
Criddy, you there?
Oh my god, I was muted when I was talking.
Great.
That was a nice sentence too, but it's not happening again. Anyway, as you're pouring your various symbiotic healing potions into it, you notice that there's almost no time to gauge reaction as it instantly just eats it up and burns it. Like just a plume of smoke emits as it each healing potion you try just disappears into it.
Yeah. I'm almost tempted to actually drop a small piece of flesh in there, but that can be for later.
Fair enough. And what are you up to this morning, Despair?
Despair, from snoring, she kind of wakes up oh, fuck, what happened yesterday? And she forces herself up, and she kind of looks around, and she looks down at her legs to make sure nothing got her while she was sleeping. And
it's the feet thief.
Yeah, and she looks to her owlbear. Yeah, what is the owlbear doing?
As you're waking up, before you even are fully awake, he's just kind of cooing at you with as he's waking up next to you, just rubbing himself on you to your side. He kind of crawls and sits on your lap as you stretch.
So she smiled. She's so happy, and she pets the owlbear, and she gets up and while holding it gently, and then she turns around and gets out of her bed, and then she just I guess she doesn't really need to get dressed. So she kind of
fair point.
Down her so she just puts down her owlbear, and then she gives the owlbear more food because owlbears need food, and she's just gonna go downstairs, probably from her room. She's just gonna take a look around at the environment, seeing how everyone is doing, if there's anything, etc. So.
Okay. In a common area, where you guys have sort of a kitchen, you see Lewin cooking up some sort of food as the girls sit on the floor, some of them eating and some of them waiting for food, not seeming to really acknowledge you aside from like a quick look up. But the first person who does say something, as your owlbear follows behind you, My! Slept in a little bit, did we?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that today and yesterday and the day before. But, no matter. It's okay. Just make sure you're ready. We're leaving for the bathhouse right after breakfast. What would you like to eat, my dear Despair?
What do you have?
We've got eggs, we've got toast, we have, I can go out and get you something if you wish, but other than that, we've just got a regular display of vegetables to cook up.
I would like to have some toast with butter, possibly some vegetables.
Well, alright then. And he's weirdly pleasant right now, and just kind of in an upbeat mood as he cooks your food. And
oh god, he's a morning person.
After doling out some food to the others, he eventually gets to you and hands you your plate of
What are the other girls eating?
Most of them are eating something similar. Each one of them has eggs. One of them has a bit of like a tear of ham on her plate too that she's eating.
Despair is staring right at her.
The one eating ham?
Yes.
Meat.
She kind of looks at you and rolls her eyes because she knows exactly what your issue is and just turns away, moving her plate.
She just kind of looks away from her as well. What she's given.
Another one of the girls, the one that is known for her quite vexing attitude, kind of looks at you directly as you look away from the other one and stabs the meat on her plate pretty viciously with her fork and then eats it. And she just laughs at you. A couple of the other girls giggle.
Woof.
Despair is just like she looks back at her with like a piercing glare. I would like to roll intimidation for her to stop.
Okay, go ahead.
Flex on them.
So that would be strength-based intimidation.
Right. Yeah, we discussed that. I got you.
Oh my god, we're actually to do this, yes.
Glorious.
Ooh.
17.
17?
Yes.
Okay, as she looks at you, well, what do you want to do? What's your action as you're intimidating her with?
She's just giving this piercing glare, like, it's clear that she just doesn't like the teasing.
As she's, like, kind of teasing you, poking at her food, she's kind of expecting a reaction out of you of some sort, but she looks into your eyes and her, peppy, vexing attitude kind of slows down as she just follows what the other girl did and turns with her plate and just goes back to eating, kind of side-eyeing you as she goes back to her food. Not side-eyeing like, she's side-eyeing in a very nervous way, like you're going to hurt her as you, walk past.
Yep. So yeah, Despair will just continue to eat hopefully without any other interruption.
Nope. Everyone after seeing that wordless display kind of just leaves you alone as they usually do. And your owlbear is kind of poking at your food as you eat. You gotta keep kind of pushing him away from it as he's trying to steal off of your plate.
Despair actually gives the owlbear a little bit of...
Oh god, now you're setting a precedent. Now it's going to eat your entire plate next time.
That's how it starts.
Yep.
Well,
This is
Despair
bad pet
wants
parenting.
to be nice.
Bad pet parenting. You have to be disciplined in these things.
Alright, where did I leave? Oh yeah, okay. Arshad,
Aye aye.
where are you headed? Because I just kind of let you leave the door on. Where are you headed?
Okay, so realizing that I probably didn't make the best first impression last night, I am going to use the Alchemicals Guild's various bathhouse facilities, which are probably just like, a bucket of water you dump on yourself. Clean off all the various explosives and, like, residue you have on you. Scrub myself down.
Station?
Exactly. No, it's like one of those fucking decontamination rooms, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I come back through that, and suspiciously the decontamination room has actually cleaned up my face now and my hair, and it's all beautiful and all these sorts of things. And I look, all, like fucking the whole 9 yards, and I kind of like set back up. I get into my clean, dirty alchemist robe, and I just kind of like set up, adjust the collar that is non-existent on my coat, and I'm just going to head straight on over to the palace because I have a report to deliver to the princess.
All right, and just because I also caught you coming out the door, Zephyr, what are we up to? Where are we headed?
Well, I was going to head to the bathhouse, but noticing that I hadn't really eaten anything for a little while, I'll go grab like a few apples or something on the way and just chew those while I head towards the bathhouse.
Okay, as you guys are walking there, you kind of meet each other at the front gate of the Therum district. The guards kind of acknowledge who both of you are and seem to either remember you from last night or have been told things, so they nod at each other and open the door. What were you going to say?
Hello, my friend. You are the man with the with the love of books, yes?
I'm holding up a set of books as you say this, and I say, yes, that's correct. You're the alchemical blood lover.
Yes.
No offense.
No, this is very true. Tasting of blood is very important to tell what these sorts of things are. I'm very happy I did not taste it, though, because I discovered a very disturbing thing about this last night, and I must report to the princess immediately.
His eyes light up. Oh, sorry.
Would you care to accompany me?
His eyes light up, and he says, interesting. Something unusual about the blood.
Very much so. Come, I will explain once we get there.
With pleasure, and I follow behind him. Oh, is Despair there as well?
Despair, where you at?
Crashes through the wall.
I assume that you'd be walking to the bathhouse with us, as she was told.
Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah. You read my mind.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? I'll keep it censored. The line of
prostitutes.
Well endowed, the line of whores are kind of walking, led by Lewin, down to the bathhouse as he's kind of like, come on, stay in line. I see you there, and he's just kind of keeping them all in line as he gives up on trying to keep Despair with them as she walks to the side, kind of petting her owlbear as she walks up, not in line with the rest of them.
Is he gonna try and drag her back in?
No, he gave up with it.
No, I just mean, out of completely out of context.
Oh yeah,
you gonna try and drag her anywhere?
I don't know if he's got.
He has half a foot on me. I'm not fucking touching that.
Yeah, he has a muscle.
Yeah, but they roll up to the gates slightly after you guys, but close enough for you to see the large tiefling woman that you saw before.
Oh no, not again! Can I avert my eyes once again?
Zephyr kind of got used to it.
Hear this?
So, as you guys enter... Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Would Despair hear what, Arshad... Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Okay, would she be able to hear what he just said?
The avert your eyes thing?
No, I didn't say avert your eyes, I just said, oh no, not again, then I averted my eyes.
Yeah, he can, yeah. You can hear that.
So Despair just, her head snaps towards, and she, looks at him with, daggers in her eyes, and she just...
I'm not looking! See, I'm smart about this.
But yeah, she just keeps walking to this, not really caring to be in a line, but... she doesn't want to go to the bathhouse.
As you guys walk in, of course... Arshad and Zephyr walk in first, followed by Despair, followed by Lewin and the rest of the girls. Nim Yellery, the woman that you met last night, kind of looks up at you at the little podium at the front of the bathhouse. Why, hello! Quite a lot of familiar faces. How are you all today?
Very well.
She looks over at the... She looks over at Lewin with a nod. Hello, Lewin. How are you today? And he just kind of looks up with her with a very, polite smile, completely uncharacteristic. Hello, Nim. How are you doing? He looks at her with almost a taunting grin, and she kind of looks away, and her polite frown, or her polite smile turns into a frown of sorts as she shakes it off and goes back to Zephyr and Arshad. Here for a bath, are you? After playing around in all that blood, I assume?
Well, yes, I must be prepared to meet the princess today, you see.
Oh, meet the princess, huh? About
yes.
what, may I ask?
Oh, that is very important business, and unfortunately I can only share with the princess herself.
Yes, you may ask, but we may not answer.
That too. You can say that, yes.
She chuckles and
I say this
says,
as I
"I
adjust my
understand."
spectacles.
I understand. She kind of shrugs and sorry. And Lewin, you look back at Lewin. He looks almost impatient that you guys are having polite conversation. But when he notices that people are looking at him, he puts up his smile again. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. You guys can interact or something, but I just have to look something up real fast.
I wave to Despair. Good to see you again.
Despair like kind of looks over to Zephyr and she's just like, good to see you too.
His eyes
She's
are
like,
locked on your eyes because he thinks it's like a cultural thing. So he's just like, okay, whatever. Just ignore it.
Like she's just like really like confused at like how he's just like nice to see you. Because like she isn't used to that kind of like courtesy.
Yeah. At which point he says, "It's rare to see someone that lives in in cities such as this that actually care about the lives of others."
I suppose.
Sorry, my accent is like jumping. It's jumping into an accent for some reason. I think it's because I do a heavy accent for River.
It's jumping into River's accent.
God damn it! Hang on.
Hey, don't worry. I know all about jumping accent. Keeping
really,
them completely inconsistent.
It's really frustrating. I've been playing this paladin for ages. Anyway.
She kind of looks up and slaps her head. I'm talking about Nim. She slaps her head a little bit. Oh, what am I thinking, Arshad? And she looks at you, kind of puzzled for a minute.
Zephyr Martorin.
Zephyr Martorin, of course. I believe the queen and the king told me to let you guys have any amenity in here that you wanted for free of charge. They paid me last night, assumed that you'd be coming, and allowed it. So
that's most gracious of them.
Pick any room that you want. She gives you a polite smile.
I immediately go to the most expensive room available.
I go to a mid-range. Well, actually, I head towards the bathhouse.
Okay. And as you guys kind of head off, Lewin walks up, giving his weird smirk at Nim again. Why, hello, Nim. Can I please have a room for me? And before he even finishes, she cuts him off, goes, all right, go, and just kind of waves him through, not even having the patience to talk to him.
Rude.
Understandable.
Oh, that's kind of rude.
In kind of a seemingly organized fashion, like they have it rehearsed. They each go to their own separate rooms in the bathhouse, and you know, Lewin stays out nearby, and you can kind of see as you enter the your own closed-off bathhouse that Nim and Lewin are kind of interacting, and not in a very positive way. Lewin has a smile on his face, and Nim is looking annoyed and sort of embarrassed in some way. And they're talking to each other as you close the door.
Oh dear.
So, Despair kind of just hangs out in a room.
Is she at like one of the bathhouse rooms, or is she just like not even going into one of them?
Well, yeah, she would go into a bathhouse room.
I go into the main chamber.
Okay, so I just want to say real quick, I feel like Despair would go into like the maybe Zephyr was in, but she didn't actually realize that, like,
oh dear.
It was a couple minutes like later that she just kind of forgot he was in there, so she just kind of walked into the room.
Okay. Wait, in the Zephyr's room?
Like, yeah.
Okay, you're just kind of sitting there about to get ready to get into you kind of look at the door as it cracks open, they do like this fast double take. As you see the tiefling woman just step in with a vote of confidence in her stride.
Zephyr is curious, but not necessarily embarrassed. And as you now see, his scale mail is off. His robes that basically cover every inch of his skin are off. He's pretty jacked.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, damn.
You know, muscle on the arms, muscle here and there, but nothing significant. He's not like jacked as shit like Despair's muscle.
Is anybody picturing the opening scene of The Witcher where he's in that?
That would be a perfect one.
Oh god.
Because personally, I picture that scene every single night. But, that's
I mean, why wouldn't
a
you at
different
that point?
story.
Picture or fantasize?
A little bit of both. One turns into the other. You know how it is.
This is being recorded.
Excellent.
Spectacular.
Beautiful.
But yeah, like Despair is just like, oh, you're in here.
It is a public bathhouse.
I suppose I just forgot that you walked in here.
To be perfectly honest, I'm far smaller than you. I wouldn't be surprised if you missed anything I did.
Yeah.
I'm 6'3".
So just
Oh god.
I have no idea how tall you are.
I'm 6'4".
Okay, so I'm about the same height, but you are definitely more built, so...
Yeah, so Despair kind of just like casually walks to like the bath itself, and she just like sits down, like relaxes.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Yep, and like so does it just to ask out of character, like, would I be able to like kind of control the owlbear, or would the DM mainly do that?
You can give me, yeah. For the most part, yeah. I'll let you go ahead and say what he's doing. That's on you.
Okay, so my owlbear would probably like curiously look up at like Zephyr and like kind of bump his head on his like leg, like probably asking for a little bit of scratches.
He's going to jerk not having noticed the owlbear and panic for half a moment, and then realize, oh, it's a pet, and he is going to...
It is a baby owlbear. I just want to make that clear. It's not a full-size, like...
Well, that's why he didn't notice it immediately. He was too...
making sure that everybody was clear.
A large owlbear would be slightly noticeable, to be fair.
He was too busy staring dead in her eyes to make sure his gaze doesn't wander. But as he notices the owlbear, he's just like, "Oh, a little friend," and
also,
slowly
by the way, he can only
reaches out to
see
pet.
like he can only see half of her face, just so you know.
Okay, fair enough. I reach my
that
hand
whole emo
out
hair?
very slowly to not get bitten or anything like that, and pet his head.
Oh, as a quick side note, as you notice that the tiefling woman's face is kind of covered up by her hair, you start to think for a moment, and you realize the bathhouse lady Nim Yellery, her hair was in a similar fashion, a completely different style, but pulled over one of her eyes. And it just kind of reminds you of that.
Okay, I'll keep
Well
that in
then.
mind.
Yep. So the owlbear will just like push against his hand, like they go like.
Mildly nervous, he grips the edge of the bath, but he does pet the owlbear comfortably. And when he gets used to it, he's like, "Okay, I get it. It's not gonna kill me."
Yeah, and the owlbear just kind of like crawls onto like the floor, like goes into like a sleeping position, has a nap.
What's
Any
the lighting in
stuff?
here?
It's sort of dim, but you're able to see everything pretty clear, but it's dim for calming reasons.
Cool. One of his books is nearby, because that's the kind of person he is. Yeah, one of his large tomes is nearby, and it's got like this protective leather covering, of course. And he grabs his gloves, which are freshly cleaned and dry from this morning when he woke up, and starts thumbing through the pages with his gloves on.
Which book? Is there a specific, like...
No, it's just like times and deaths of historical figures. Nothing huge.
Okay.
Nothing important, just interesting to him.
I gotcha.
So
Flavor
Despair
book.
Yeah, flavor book. So Despair would just like glance over. She was like staring at like Zephyr to make sure that he wasn't gonna like hurt the owlbear, like kind of like a protective mother. And she just kind of like looks around and stuff. She doesn't really say much. She doesn't really seem like the type of person to socialize very well. So, like, I mean, according to her interactions from before, I'm sure that's fairly obvious, so.
Oh, I forgot to mention, he uses the light cantrip to light up his glove so he can read it better.
I already pictured that. Didn't even have to mention
I
it.
figured you would.
I'm
I
more
can't
imagining
even
like he's
get
got like
Michael
a
Jackson glove glowing out of my head. I just love that image so much that this dude is just like nerding out over books using his hand light constantly.
I was actually going to
I
say,
love it.
what I would imagine is, like those really terrible, like, forehead lights you used to have when
Oh
you were a kid?
god, not that shit,
Yeah,
man.
imagine that, like, with, like, a metal band and, like, a big old jewel right in the center.
Pretty much.
I like that.
At
Yeah.
the Scholastic
I was
Book
thinking-
Fair, the little clip-on book lights that they would sell.
Oh, man, those
I was
are-
thinking kind of like Roy Mustang's gloves from Full Metal Alchemist, that kind of style.
Ooh,
Nice white
all
gloves
right,
with
then.
like a delicate design, but nothing actually important on it.
Okay,
Just flavor.
that's nice.
Meanwhile,
Mr. Grunge.
Meanwhile, Arshad.
if I haven't burned this place down, that's probably going to count as a good day.
I'll be right back. I got 1 second. Continue.
Can we
for
take
now.
like a 10-second break because I have to pee as well? So I figured.
you too.
Why don't we do, like, a proper, like, 3-minute break? Cause it's
All right,
like,
I'll
it's
pause the
10 seconds
recording
into
for now, and then when we get
All
back,
right,
we
okay.
can all decide on when it starts again. All right.
All right,
All right.
excellent.
3,
Alright.
2, 1, off.
And
We
we're
live!
back.
Oh! Let us begin once more.
We all
onto the
hope
breach.
you're having as much fun as we are.
Because let me tell you guys, we are having a lot of fun right now.
Yes, we are. Where did we
This is
leave
well,
off? Did we
single
leave
drop
off
of
at
We left
the
off
bathhouse intruder?
with yeah,
No.
an
Bathhouse
awkward,
intruder.
Yeah.
an awkward sit down with Zephyr and
Awkward,
Despair.
like the most awkward interaction between two very stilted people.
One staring daggers into his back, and the other reading a book in the bath.
Yep. They're a
What a
perfect couple.
fucking nerd.
Yep.
He's
Meanwhile,
literally got like a naked woman in a bath next to him. He's like, I can't read this page properly
He
without my
can't
light.
focus. He is trying his best to ignore it
yeah.
as politely
Well-
as possible.
Despair will just ask, like, what's your problem?
I don't think anyone in this town or any town I've ever heard of is used to such a flagrant nudist. No offense. It's not negative.
Oh. Well, I suppose it's just culture shock.
Yes, that would be it. And he's like back, head, nose in the book.
You don't have to be worried
his
that
face is in that goddamn book. Like you can't see anything but the pages.
Okay. Well, Despair will just say, trying to be afraid of looking at my tits.
You hear coughing that almost sounds like he was drowning for a moment.
He attempts
His
to
head
drown
has been
himself.
above water this entire time. That is the sound of a man drowning on land.
Yep.
But he chokes and he says, "No, not at all, not at all."
As you guys speak, kind of interrupting your conversation, you hear a loud knock on the door. Despair, are you in there?
Yes.
Have you found your own room this time?
Yes.
He goes, it's time to get out in 2 minutes. Do you understand, Despair?
What if he's my client?
What
Whoa.
Oh, excuse
Whoa.
me. He kind of sounds nervous in his voice and changes his tone. Have fun in there. Come to me if you have any questions. Please enjoy your time.
At
And he
this point, before he leaves, they say, "You would interrupt your customers like this? It's so unprofessional."
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not know she was with somebody. She's very hard to keep a track of, and I keep telling. I'm sorry. And he
Leave now.
Yes. Of course. And he just kind of bows his head a little bit and just steps away.
And Zephyr looks over to Despair, eyes again locked on her eyes, and he goes, It's like the geekiest laugh you can think of.
Perfection. Absolute perfection.
Despair will just say, like, if you got money, I'm willing to do it.
Whoa!
Oh dear.
To which he responds, "I don't think anyone has that much money." At this point, he says, "Is he always like this?
Your mic
What did you say? Yeah.
Is he always like this?"
She kind of, like, looks around, and she's kind of like, yeah. She kind of just has this annoyed tone to it. being interrupted while trying to do her own thing.
Making such good conversation.
Yep. And she just kind of looks away, like not making eye contact.
I think at that point he would just let the conversation be.
Yeah. She would probably
It's
just
not his
kinda,
business, so he's not going to pry.
Yeah. So
Although
she
he
just
is going to
goes
keep
back
him-
to relaxing.
He is going to keep that dude's face in his mind to try and remember him for later.
Go ahead and roll me.
Who's rolling?
The person, my boy Zephyr. A perception check as you think about the man's face. Please.
Easy, that's a +5 for me. 1 sec.
Make sure your eyes are looking at the right place when you're starting to think about this sort of thing.
Oh god, that's a 9. No, my eyes go back to her tits. And it's just like, shit.
As you're thinking about it, you're trying to make connections with Lewin's face, and you realize, as the tiefling girl looks away, you kind of have an opportunity here, and you get a little distracted.
Oh my god!
It's like, oh shit, fuck!
Meanwhile, what's my boy Arshad up to?
Okay, so first things first, describe to me what the most expensive room entails at this point.
Your room
Presidential
is
suite.
clearly much bigger, as the others were more of almost like a wooden sauna type area. Yours is made of like a shiny tile.
Yep.
And it has like a nice porcelain bath with 4 pillar-like candle holders around it, and nice stairs leading up to this raised bathtub in the middle of this beautiful room.
Alright. So Arshad basically just, strips down as fast as he can. I'm assuming there's some sort of like ornate coat hanger or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, he doesn't actually hang it up anything on there. He literally just throws the wad of clothing at it and knocks the thing over. And he sort of like stomps up, completely naked. In case it comes up later, he is not all that jacked or ripped or anything like that. He is basically think of like the most stereotypical high school nerd, with like real thin limbs everywhere.
You're telling me the blood sniffer isn't jacked?
Unfortunately not.
The guy geeking out over hemophilia.
Yeah. That being said, as he pulls it off and like he starts dipping in and cleaning off his face and actually that sort of stuff, his the dirt kind of comes off his face a little bit, and he does actually have quite a handsome face, and suspiciously his hairdo does not actually change when it goes in the water. It stays as solid and perfectly formed as ever.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's got basically all sorts of alchemical stuff and make sure that thing is fucking bulletproof.
You made gel, but super strong gel. Way earlier than you
Yes,
should.
Exactly. I may have made it a little too strong.
Oh,
That's
dear.
what it says. Yeah. Now it just stays like that forever, but
You created the first perm.
Exactly. I can basically headbutt rocks with that thing, and
Oh.
the rock will basically what my hair does. Anyway.
His hair is very spiky.
It's true. But when it's kind of like swarming back together, it kind of looks, you can kind of get the spikes alien in the sort of the correct direction. Anyways, getting back to the main point. Yeah. So, he kind of just like slides right in, just kind of has like an, pops his arms out, puts them on the side of the tub, and is just leaning back. It's good to be the king.
Meanwhile, back in the other room, as Despair and Zephyr kind of have their awkward encounter, kind of breaking up the dead silence is just another louder knock this time. Despair! I said 2 minutes. Did I stutter when I spoke? Despair! He knocks even louder this time, banging at the door at this point,
Sorry,
kind of
I was
jiggling it.
AFK real quick.
Oh, you're good. Your boy is just knocking at the door, so it kind of makes sense that you're ignoring him.
Yeah, so Despair just stands up, gets out of the bath, and she turns toward him, and she just walks over to him. She opens the door and she stares. So
I think you said she stares at him. I think is what she said.
He's got a very impatient look on his face. His arms are crossed and his eyebrow is raised, and his expression is quite familiar to you at this point, and kind of unfazing. He's got the rest of the girls lined up behind them, already completely dried off and dressed. Despair, I don't even want to say it. Just get your things if you brought any. Looks at your completely nude body and says, and let's go, please.
Yep. Okay.
I
Just
pet
put
the
the X with her.
I pet the owlbear one more time.
The owlbear is, it's kind of hanging back with you because it's nervous to go up, but then as soon as Despair starts to walk out, it quickly, kind of slipping on the wet floor, it scutters out there and gets by her foot.
Yeah. And Despair will walk off along with Bear.
I think at this point, Zephyr would probably be done his bath. He's bathed pretty heavy now, and he's like, yeah, I'm satisfied. Get up out of the bath, put on his clothes and his scale mail just underneath his robes, and get ready to leave the bathhouse.
Okay, as you are getting ready, you see Despair kind of leaving with everyone, hanging behind the pack, and Lewin is not really focused on her. He's kind of keeping the other girls in check, kind of scolding one of them, the blonde one that was messing with Despair earlier with the meat. He's kind of scolding her and paying no attention to Despair as you kind of walk out the door, and she's still kind of hanging back.
Sorry, can I interrupt right now?
Yeah.
Can I just say Arshad now comes out of the bath room with just a towel on and hits everyone like kind of with a little hair flip, and then hits them with the look I just posted.
Oh god!
As you're glaring at them with this model type look, with your eyes squinted and your
Blue steel.
your diamond cut features staring at them, and the steam from the room kind of cascading out, seeming like a scene from a play.
Can I roll a fucking persuasion check?
I was persuading of what? But yeah, go ahead.
Just, like, that I'm,
Just a swagger
Oh,
check.
basically,
yeah. Roll me a swagger check.
Fucking swag check. Alright, let's see. D20, that'll be a +3 for that.
How old
That's
is
going to be a
Arshad?
7. 25.
Despair rolls her eyes.
Yeah. The steam kind of overtakes me and kind of covers me entirely, so
So it's completely lost on us.
Oh, excuse me.
Out of curiosity,
Very
how
much
old is
zombies.
Arshad?
like, as I said, like, early, mid-20s, 22, 23.
I had a whole different image in mind.
Yeah, no, he's like... he's not that young, he's not that old either.
Just as beyond his years, that's all.
Exactly.
Cool.
Anyways, yes, so now that I've made a complete fool of myself, as usual, I'm gonna kind of be like, where are the changing rooms, and where are the clothes cleaning rooms? I must scrub all of these. I hold up the ball of clothing in my arms.
Are you talking to your homies, or are you talking to Nim?
I'm just talking to everyone in general.
Nim is kind of a little bit far away, and she's working at her podium, writing something down, and kind of helping it guess, so she can't really hear you from there.
Okay, that's the case, then I'm literally just going to march up. I'm basically trying to pull off like I'm some sort of important noble at this point. So,
Taste of the good life.
Exactly. Hey, if you taste it, you may as well use it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and I just kind of like march around over and just like, ma'am, where will I find a cleaning supply location for my clothing? And I rolled up the clothing, which of course is smoking and steaming ever so slightly.
Oh, we can clean them... Wait, hold on. That's the wrong voice. We can clean them right in here. Like, and she kind of looks at you nervously as you stand with the posture, and she kind of lowers her shoulders a bit and puts out her hands. I can clean them for you.
Oh yes, but one moment please. And I literally spend like the next minute and a half literally pulling out every single vial I have inside my coat and putting it into my alchemical satchel, which I then proceed to put on my shoulder and like stick right next to me, and then hand her over everything. Then stop, pull out a dagger as well, put that in my satchel, and then give it over to her.
Oh my
She looks at you with this like just look of awe, and she goes, free of charge, of course, as she skeptically takes your now vacant clothing and slowly walks.
I look over at the customer who she was helping. I just give her like again the kind of like the side. I gotta give him like the side eye cocky grin, just like hey.
I walk over just behind him and I slip her a silver.
You're gonna give her Nim a tip. She goes, "Oh no, I couldn't." Well, she shakes her head, and she would kind of return it to you, but her hands are kind of occupied with the clothing at the moment. I couldn't. Please, no.
I give her a stern look, and then I look like shift my eyes over to the alchemist, and I'm just like, "Trust me, you deserve it."
She kind of gives you a nice chuckle, and kind of shrugs her shoulder. Thank you. She nods her head and kind of walks off with the clothing. As the older woman that she was helping before kind of looks over at Arshad with slight lust in her eyes as she fans herself off with her hand.
Yeah. And I just kind of give her a little head, and I turn on my heels and go right back to my expensive room.
Despair, did you follow Lewin and the other girls, or did you hang back?
Yep, I followed.
Okay. Alright.
Is there anything happening?
Shane, we probably could have actually told her to come with us, I think, at that point, because technically she saw what happened last night, so I don't know. Anyways.
She's not that far. I mean, she's...
Yeah.
They have left the building.
Actually, wait, yeah, they've left the building? Oh, this is gonna get even better. Can I run out in my bathtub?
Absolutely.
I can, sprint out of the thing. Wait! Okay, much further than I thought. I need, her, I kind of, point to Despair. I need her to come with me. I must, have her testimony as well.
Oh, God!
Lewin kind of puts his hand up, and all the girls stop, kind of bumping into each other in this line. You sit! He snaps his fingers and tells the blonde one to sit down. Yep. What do you need her for?
Oh, I just told you. I need her for testimony. She is to meet the princess.
He kind of looks at you up and down and turns his head just slightly, not meeting your gaze or looking at your body at all. Testimony for what?
Testimony with the princess about, I kind of looks at his head. The incident last night?
He thinks for a moment and changes his demeanor, realizing the severity of the situation last night, but then goes back to his normal expression as he looks at Zephyr. Did you pay her?
I would like to cast suggestion.
Oh.
Say, of course, I already gave it to you. Didn't you notice?
Okay, give me the roll.
Okay, that's a wisdom saving throw of 13. Oh, please no!
I am horrified. I am mortified. Please, for the love of Christ, you can have her.
Oh God!
All right,
what is it?
He raises his eyebrow yet again and goes, "Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be."
Yes.
I didn't mean to be cursed with you before. Cut with you again when asking for the payment. It's just, you understand what my customers can be like. But
of course,
I appreciate the business, and I promise you that Despair appreciates it even more.
Always.
And she awaits. And I think she'd be happy.
Despair, and I give her like a. Just can barely contain herself.
I think the girls could use quite a break from Despair, and Despair could use a break from them, and she'd be happy in your company. Isn't that right, Despair?
Yes.
Well, alright then, just please have her back before tonight. I don't really care when, I just want to see her before tomorrow so I know that she's home and safe. Is that okay?
Of course.
Alright. Goodbye, Despair, he says.
Goodbye.
With a happy a happy tone in his voice, but kind of the same angered, raised eyebrow that he did before.
What a prick.
What an absolute douche. Yep. Don't worry, we'll deal with him later.
He kind of... Oh my God.
Jesus. Jumped straight to murder.
Yep.
The DM quickly typing up... I'm just typing up his battle stats when you say that. Yeah, he just kind of turns and snaps his fingers and begins walking as the girls follow immediately. The blonde girl that made fun of Despair kind of sticks her tongue out at her as she turns around and walks. Before she gets tugged at by Lewin. Come on! And she just turns back around and walks, and they walk off.
Yes, very good, very good.
So Despair kind of looks over Arshad, and she holds up her owlbear. You want to pet him?
Realizing that he's now, again, once in the situation he's been before, it's like, yes, very wonderful, and I stare directly at the owlbear the entire time. Yes, wonderful animal, very fascinating, and I reach out to touch him. Can I roll animal handling at disadvantage?
Oh my God! What?
You want disadvantage? It can eat you, man.
No, it's just, as I've said to Cosmic, this is just perfect for character moments right now.
Go for it, man.
All right, so that's gonna be D20. 20. Just did it straight D20. I'll just roll that once. Okay, first one's 5, so we're starting out well. All right, come on, 0, 0, 0. The next one's a fucking natural 20, so yeah, no, the 5 counts.
Well, I guess her owlbear would kind of like maybe nip at him playfully, but like it's a kind of like nip where it's like I don't think the owlbear would like realize like how hard.
Yeah. My fingers! Oh, my fingers! Oh, I think they're broken. Oh, just being the full drama queen at this point.
Is he wearing any gloves, or did he tear any clothes or anything like that?
The gloves were the clothing pile.
Okay, just making sure. Oh yeah, that's right. You're totally naked.
Except for the towel. Yeah.
Despair kind of like apologizes. Like she's like, sorry. He gets kind of playful sometimes, and then she looks down at the towel, and she's just like, "You're wearing that? Why?"
Oh, what? Sorry, yes, go back. I must go back inside. Pardon me. Again, like trying to avoid his eyes as much as possible, and kind of scooch back inside.
Despair just looks really confused.
That's my goal.
Like what? She's just about to like say like, she's just confused as to why he's wearing a towel. Like,
why not just go naked all the time? Very liberating.
Yeah. What is Rozo's name? Oh, sorry.
As you guys are kind of discussing things outside, Nim walks out, and she's not carrying the clothes anymore, kind of wringing her hands in almost like a nervous way, with her shoulders kind of craned up a little bit.
Oh my god, yes.
Excuse me. Despair, is it?
Oh, damn it,
yes.
Never mind. I was hoping to burn my clothes.
She was coming out because she did something to your clothes and had to...
Can you imagine?
The essence spilled.
She walks towards Despair. May I speak to you just a little bit away from these two for just a moment?
Sure, and she just walks away. She walks with her to like maybe a more private spot.
Can you two mute real quick?
Oh,
like
before I do, I would
I
will absolutely do that. I just wanted to mention I would be trying to listen into this subtly.
Roll me not perception. Yeah, perception, I guess.
Perception?
Yeah.
Alright, that's +5.
Okay.
14. So I barely get a gist of it.
Yeah, I'll fill you in, but... Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Awesome.
So I guess I should I'll just fill you in on the gist of it. Because
just what I heard, nothing more.
Yeah,
should I deafen myself as well? Because I didn't hear it. I'll deafen myself so I don't hear this.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Fair enough.
You couldn't hear too much. You could just hear, or you could just see that Nim was very nervous as she spoke, and she was wringing her hands as a whole. Despair didn't falter at all. She was standing confidently and looking almost confused. The only word that you heard repeating enough to notice is you kept hearing her mention Lewin and the girls.
Okay.
And that's about all you heard.
As I do this, I'm just looking like I'm reading in my book, waiting for... I'll probably cut out all the whispers from the gameplay, just for good measure, and
I'll
put up a little sign, whispers.
Sorry about that. I live.
Alright.
What are y'all... What's your next move?
Well, I need to get my goddamn clothes back.
Oh, true that.
So
I could try and go in a goddamn bath towel, but that's probably going to make a bigger scene than normal.
The moment you try that, I grab on your shoulder and I say, no. We're
waiting
for your clothes.
Yeah, I'm saying if it had to happen, I would make that a bigger deal. Yeah. Anyways, but the whole thing is that I now am waiting, foot tapping on the ground, just kind of like, come on, we must hurry, yes, we must hurry, come on.
Are you waiting back inside the bathhouse for her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she, kind of sees you waiting, and she hurriedly walks out with the outfit that you, came up to her with. I'm sorry, some of them are still, drying. It's a little bit wet, but it should be okay. I can see that you're impatient. Is this alright? And she hands you the slightly damp clothes.
This will do very fine. Thank you very much.
Oh,
and I immediately
thank you.
I go back over to my extra rich, white man bathroom.
Okay.
I give her a what can you do hand gesture, like, whatever, it's what he does.
Yeah.
And continue on.
And then I come back out several minutes later, small explosions having gone off while I was putting everything back on. Fully set to go. now it just kind of looks like a very clean, very nice leather duster with, as I said, the whole Zayn Malik haircut we're talking about earlier.
All right. Where to now that you're fully clothed?
It's time to meet some royalty.
All right. You
The
guys gonna
Spare
head back?
isn't really excited for this.
Yep.
I bookmark my place in the book and stuff it back in my backpack and follow along behind Arshad.
Yep.
Despair will be in basically the back line of the. She just kind of sighs, like, do we really have to do this?
Well, I have to go and talk to the princess. That's what she ordered last night.
Yeah, but what do I have to do with anything of this?
Well, you have to be there to back up my story.
You were
Yes,
one of
that's
the
it.
first on the scene. Your testimony is helpful.
Yes, that very much so.
I suppose. And she rolls her eyes and
It's
she's
a
eating
break.
some-
Sorry.
I think you're good.
It's a break from him, isn't it? And I point back to the guy at the edge of the entrance where he was.
I wish I had a break from him all the time.
Except this one for now.
Yeah.
And I follow behind Arshad.
All right.
You guys walk up, and it's much brighter outside now, so you can see outside of the city hall area, the building that the ballroom was in. There's a nice, well-kept garden with beautiful flowers of different colors and a lot of hedgery and just bushes around that looked neatly trimmed. And at each kind of stop-off, like the opening of the small fence up to it and the gate, and at the main doors you see two guards at each one holding up their pike weapons. The ground where the murder happened, or the situation happened in both spots, has been completely cleaned up, and there's no blood to see. As you walk up and enter, the two guards kind of cross their pikes, and they look at you for a moment, and they nod at each other and kind of open the doors. Zephyr, Arshad. But
Yes.
as you step through, they kind of nudge their weapons closer again. What is she doing here?
Oh, she's with us.
With you, is it? I was told that it was going to be Zephyr and all.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
but
I
then you
wasn't
were
told about. He puts his hand up to cover her. A naked tiefling anywhere near this.
Yeah, well, in that case, you were told wrong because she's coming with us.
I put up a hand and I say, "Trust me, you would not want Princess Kisana angry. She does not get there very much, but trust me, this is not something you want on your head."
Go ahead and roll me persuasion.
Sure.
Can I help
plus
by-
3 for me.
Can I hype man behind him to give him some help?
Are you thinking advantage?
Roll it with advantage.
Oh shit! All right,
Oh,
14.
much better.
Okay. They kind of look at each other for a minute and lean over and whisper, "I know how not to upset my queen, but whatever." And they kind of just separate their weapons. Go ahead. And they just let you through.
Out of character, I'm really hoping you don't turn the princess into a nudist as well.
Wasn't planning on it, but we'll
No.
see.
Yeah. We might be exposing her to
One
some
can hope.
influences outside of normal.
Despair just kind of walks on and, she kind of flicks the pike a little bit. And she just kind of, follows them in. She still doesn't want to be there, but I guess she kind of understands her slightly.
Even the mild flick was enough to kind of set one of them off. "Hey, watch it!" He says. He kind of just moves his weapon away from her and then closes it back up and closes the door behind you. All three of you.
Despair doesn't care about, the "hey, watch it" sort of comment.
Yeah, that wouldn't
So-
bother someone like you.
She's been through much more than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, as you walk in, you enter in the main area that was being used as the ballroom last night, and all the tables and chairs have been cleaned up. The harp still lays on the floor, actually, in the center, but the elven woman is no longer there playing it or anywhere near it. Both of the thrones are empty, but you see beside it the Princess Kisana, just kind of sitting there, writing in some sort of book. As she sees you approach, she immediately closes it and puts it behind the thrones, pushes, and goes, "My goodness, I didn't expect to see you this early." She kind of stands up politely and kind of walks towards you.
The minute she stands up, I just immediately drop prone.
Oh, Your Highness, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I did not know you were so busy.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm not busy with anything. I've just been waiting on you guys. I just have so many...
I remain in a lamentation position.
A small bow from Zephyr, and he looks back up because he knows that she doesn't really care for that.
Despair never bows.
That's fair.
She just stands tall.
Meanwhile, I'm still, handling the floor.
There we got the
She
three
comes
different
up
states.
Yep.
She's very jovial and just happy to see you. Kind of put her hand on your back. Zephyr, were you the one kneeling? Or was that Arshad?
That would be me.
Wild bow.
was
Arshad
Arshad.
is...
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
The psychopath is Arshad. Just remember that every time.
She puts her hand on Arshad's back. Really, it's not necessary. I really appreciate it, but you don't have to bow when I'm here. Maybe she kind of puts her hand up to her mouth as if she's telling a secret. Maybe when my mother and father are around, but
Oh, yes,
they're
of
not
course.
here right now.
I apologize about Your Highness. I do not know these protocols very well. I'm very sorry. I will learn them very well. I've mastered them as soon as I can.
She kind of
Anyways.
waves her hand around. I don't know him very well either. It's no big deal. What have you got for me?
Well, I have something very interesting and very concerning to show you. I kind of again, just you know the merchant from Resident Evil 4?
Oh god, yeah.
Opened up the inside of the coat.
Welcome!
What are you buying, stranger? Except for, I just open up the inside of the coat, I just slip out the little vial of poison. I do a little sleight of hand to kind of flip it between my fingers. Very concerning with this, princess.
Oh, what's concerning about it? It looks about this... She kind of trails off.
I point out, yes, as you can see, it's devolved and changed over time. I show it around. I do a little show and tell. I give it to Zephyr, and I also give it to sorry,
Despair.
Despair. Thank you. And I'm just sort of yes, as you can see, very different from last night. And
Did you drink this?
I did not drink this. I am a professional. I do not drink my own potions.
When I was
Muff.
handed it, I hold it far away from my books.
And then, after I take it back from whoever held it the last time, I assume probably Zephyr, I just kind of take it, and most concerning of all, I pop out a vial of Alchemist Fire. I pop the lid off of both, and I just kind of everyone might want to stand back. I am a trained professional. And I slowly but surely prepare to pour it as everyone stands back.
I take 10 steps back.
The spirit doesn't stand back. She's right there. She doesn't.
Okay. You might be the only one who might be able to survive.
You have fire resistance. There's a difference.
And I've just got, no brain or no common sense. So yeah, I just kind of take it and just... And I empty the one into the other. Criddy?
Is it... So you're, what exactly are the vials? Is the blood and what?
Okay. So you know alchemical fire from, D&D stuff? So it's just basically, I don't know, Greek fire or whatever. It's fire you can... Or, napalm. Think of it kind of like that.
Okay, you pour it in, and as this explosion kind of starts...
Yeah, just I lean back out of the explosion.
It's a pretty contained one, but it's very, very loud, and...
Yeah.
You're only using a drop, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just showing
It's
a
only
little...
half the blood.
Yeah.
And as the smoke kind of emerges out of it, it kind of gets sucked back into the vial and just kind of dissipates.
And I point out, whatever is in here consumes anything put inside.
In the middle of your sentence, the doors kick open with 4 guards with their pikes pointed directly at the little congregation here.
I stand in
What
front
was
of
that?
them.
What's
I
going
stand in
on
front of them
here?
and I say, "It's enough, gentlemen. It's only an experiment. The princess asked for it. There's no concern, no danger here."
They look immediately for Princess Kisana's validation, and she just gives a quick nod. It's all right. Don't worry. I appreciate it, guys.
Owlbear actually not. The owlbear actually growls at the guards slightly.
Can I make an animal handling check to make sure that thing doesn't go out of control?
Sure.
It's one of those it's like a kitten growl.
Puppy. Yeah. Or a puppy
It's a
growl.
12. It's
Yeah.
acceptable.
It just kind of growls, and they give it a quick glance, but don't think much of it. And
Let's give it
Princess
a pet.
Kisana goes, "Don't worry, guys. It's okay. I understand that it was. Everything's all right." She speaks in her same calming tone, and they just kind of, without any sort of expression, just kind of turn right back around and go back to their post, letting the doors close.
That's not the first explosion in the setup, just saying.
There's going to be
just
more explosions?
Just a note for the sake of the stream is 11 EST, I believe. So just we should try to make a wrap up soon.
Okay, better we try and finish this up, this little encounter.
Yeah, we'll just
I'm not cutting you off. I'm just warning ahead of time.
Okay. So I basically was kind of holding them, just as you can see, it is very strange. I've not seen any properties like this, where something consumes everything else that it touches it, but it is not eaten through the glass of the vial, and this is not some super high-end glass. I have many of these back home. Very strange. I put the stopper back in so it doesn't spill on anyone.
She's just looking wide-eyed, her eyes glued to the vial.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm not much for alchemy, but this is amazing.
Yes.
I honestly have to be honest, I don't know if I see the correlation between its interaction with this explosion thing and the people. But this is clearly not regular. Yeah, what's up?
If I may, I did request an audience with a word or two with my goddess Selûne, goddess of knowledge. When I interacted with her, she did give me the information that the killer will kill again. And that is concerning to me. If the boy is dead, that means this lives elsewhere, not within him, but necessarily may be still on the loose.
Her excited expression from looking at the vial and just being interested in the alchemy immediately, you can tell that her heart sinks when you speak about your god's revelation. And
Great job, Black Jane. You made the princess cry.
She takes kind of a dejected
words.
step back and starts kind of wringing her hands together nervously. You said it's gonna kill again? Well, leaving is it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to seem unappreciative of what you've done. I just don't understand. I'm not much of an investigator, and I'm not one for alchemy, but I'm gonna bring all of this news right to my mother and father, and I can't thank you enough for doing all of this free of charge. I just want to remind you that everything that you, if you have any trouble, you come right to me.
Of course, Your Highness. Thank you very much for your offer.
Is there anything else?
Your Highness.
What'd you say?
Highly appreciated, Your Highness.
Oh, I appreciate everything you guys have done. I'm just so overwhelmed, and well, she kind of her shoulders just drop as she's kind of looking around the room, just kind of taking it all in. Well, she clears her throat and stands back up straight. I appreciate everything you guys have done so far, but please keep me posted.
I haven't done anything.
She kind of snickers a bit, and she goes, well, hopefully you at least kept their moods brightened. And she gives you a little bit of a wink, because she definitely knows who you are, where you over.
Oh my god!
Zephyr blushes extraordinarily red.
Arshad basically goes into does not compute.exe and kind of freezes expression on his face.
Well, thank you guys so much, and just remember, I'm always here. And she gives you a nice, polite curtsy.
Mm-hmm.
And she just
I'm still kind of stunned. So
Small bow from Zephyr.
she walks back up to where she was, picks up her book, and goes back behind this sort of doorless room, I guess, that was behind the thrones, and just disappears back there.
Very concerning. I wonder. If you would give me just a moment, I turn away from the two of them. And can I cast Identify as a ritual?
You can do that too.
Yep.
Cool.
Hold on. I just want to read the parameters of. I think.
While Criddy reads the parameters, Despair's gonna say to Zephyr, so you had the same assumption as I did, then.
I had no idea you were that in the know, but yes, it would seem my goddess has blessed me with the wisdom that I required at the time, but I can't claim this as my own discovery.
I'm sure there's someone out there that's causing this.
Without a doubt. The thing that concerns me most is that it lived within the blood. If it could spread that way, it would be a plague beyond reckoning.
Well, hopefully we never get stabbed.
Well, that's always
okay. Real quick, I looked at Identify, and if I'm clear, it's just for it's a text. It's almost like detect magic, right? If it's a magic imbued object, so it's pretty specific to magic imbued.
It is, though. To be fair, I've dumped a bunch of magic stuff into this, so that'll probably show up instead. But yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead and give me a roll.
It's just a straight check, isn't it? That's the whole thing with identify. Is that I just spent time to do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, bet.
Magic item or magic imbued object. So it doesn't have to be an item specifically manufactured for having magic, but can have magic within it.
Yeah.
It would be the magic that's identified, not the object.
Okay. All right. So as you take a look at it, you can see almost auras as you identify closer, and the magical energies and different potions, things you've put into it, have all kind of amalgamated, essentially. They've kind of just been homogenized into one deathly type of magic.
Some sort of necrotic energy?
Correct.
That would explain why it ate my healing potion. Most intriguing. Sorry? Oh, yes, sorry. This, I kind of jiggle it around inside my thing, contains raw, elemental, necrotic magic. Which would explain why it can eat into people's blood and souls and consume everything that goes inside it.
Zephyr's brow furrows. Who would want to create such a thing?
Sorry, you cut out halfway through.
Sorry.
Yeah, your mic cut.
Who would want to create such a thing?
I do not know, but I feel if we find out where this is being manufactured, we will find the source of all these killers. Or if we find the killers, we may be able to track back to the source of all these horrifying individual... what's it called? Magic. There we go. Yes.
Track one, find the other.
Exactly. One or the other.
I turn
If
to
you would
despair. I turn to despair and say, I personally would not prefer to fight killers on my own. Not exactly my specialty. Would you mind if you assisted? I hate to drag you into this, but
better than me staying with him. Does she have her axe?
I muted my mic. I would say no. The Lewin probably made you leave it at home.
I'd have to go back for my weapon. However, he would know that I'm coming back.
I can have a talk with him if you would like.
Please.
Yes, and I'm just still inspecting my little vial, of course.
All right. I mean, do you guys want to leave it at that?
I think it's a pretty damn good stopping point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys presented your info to Princess Kisana, and kind of got a lead on this. All right.
Really freaking good start. I like it.
Yeah.
I loved everyone's roleplay.
This is a great little trio just to start with to begin with. I'm going to add Jen into this anyway, so yeah, this is getting better.
Honestly, fuck everyone else. We're just not.
It's just it's the OG trio right here. That's all that matters.
We're gonna have some chemistry. No pun. That the rest of the group isn't gonna carry in. But
if anything happens to the other players, at least we've got us three.
Yeah.
True that.
Good start.
So, do you want to sign off? Plug yourself.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you everyone for watching,
guys,
or listening, whatever this is.
Dungeons and Drama.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Drama, episode 1.
Hell yeah.
Kids. And see.
And cut. All right, awesome.
Oh my god, I love
I
that.
don't mind hanging out in the call.
That was a lot of fun.